Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me, if you can, for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Ms. Riska, can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski?
Here.
Mr. Myjack?
Here.
Mr. Radke?
Present.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yanes?
Here.
Mrs. Yarko?
Present.
Council, we need approval of the agenda.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
move to approve the agenda, but I'd like to remove item 8O and make it,
9D.
yeah, that sounds good. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda tonight is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just special presentations. And the first one, we intended to do this at the last meeting, but we're very pleased to be able to do it at this meeting, and that is to honor a very special resident. And in order to start this, I'd like to introduce our Assistant City Manager, Haley Bradley, who's going to lead the discussion.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Vanderpool and Mr. Koszubski. It is a pleasure to introduce Ms. Shirley May Ogar and to recognize this remarkable milestone of turning 100. Born on May 18th, 1926, Ms. Ogar has been a part of the Sterling Heights community since 1957 and has lived a life marked by family, faith, service, and generosity. From teaching Sunday school and volunteering at local schools to her ongoing Mom's Apron Project, which supports local shelters, Ms. Ogar has made a lasting difference in others' lives. She is a wonderful example of active citizenship and community spirit. And as if that were not enough, after not traveling to Europe until age 82, she has now visited Europe 16 times, a reminder that curiosity and adventure do not fade with age. It is an honor to present this resolution acknowledging and congratulating Shirley May Ogar on reaching this extraordinary milestone and on the example she continues to set for all of us. And she is here with us tonight, so I'd like to invite her up to share a few words with you all.
Okay.
Thank you so very, very much. This is something I really never expected. Thank you so much. I have lived in Sterling Heights, as you said, since 1957, before it was a city. And so I love my area. We were in this first subdivision, Driston Village, and I love it here. I would never want to leave, you know? Thank you so very, very much.
Well, you're very welcome, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And congratulations.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun, yes. Oh, my son's getting pictures.
Oh, them
They're going to come down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Council?
Yeah, we're coming. I just don't want to take out her son.
He's working hard.
Yeah, I don't want to kick him off the stairs. There we go.
Oh, she has treats for us.
There, we get treats?
Oh, yes, we have treats for everyone.
Oh, my goodness.
This is tremendous. You're really making out.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Here, maybe you could hand these out.
Tremendous.
I know.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on turning 100.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
amazing.
thank you.
Thank you for coming and seeing us.
Yes, sir. Many times.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Really?
Nothing but wonderful things about you.
Oh, thank you. He took flute lessons from my daughter.
Oh.
That's That's how I met him.
He's a genius.
Yeah, thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Shirley, it's nice to meet you. In Polish, we would say stolat, which means we want you to live 100 years, but you're already there. So let's try for, another 50, 60. Maybe
Well, we'll take one day at a time. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, why don't you guys?
Come on over here. We'll figure it out.
Come on, we got a resolution for you, Shirley.
Oh, that's
I love the pretzel.
I'm excited about this.
Henry, where'd you go?
All right, everyone hold those big smiles for me. I got you right here. 3, 2. Perfect.
All right, you'll get. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Appreciate you being here. Pleasure to have you. Thanks for everything.
Many a year in this.
Well, good, yeah, 60-ish, almost, well, wait, no, 70, almost 70 years. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But hey,
But
it's a
hey,
good city.
thank you.
Might you have one more for Mark? Joe, you're a singer. So just to put things into context a little bit, Shirley's been living in the city of Sterling Heights since the last time the Detroit Lions won a championship. So I hope you get to see at least 2 during your time in Sterling Heights. We will take one day at a time. Council, any comments, anything for Mr. Radke?
Yeah, just briefly, Mr. Mayor, it's so wonderful to celebrate 100 years with you because people like you are what make our community so strong. So thank you for coming and visiting us. Continue doing what you're doing because you have a secret, and I want to learn it because it's amazing to make it to 100 years.
Ms. Zarowski.
Keeping busy keeps you going.
Yep, that's what I was just going to
Tremendous.
say, is that I had the pleasure of talking to Shirley before the ceremony, and I asked her what was her secret. And that's what she said, she keeps busy. Every day, she has a goal. And I think that's great advice for all of us, but also, she is still making aprons for whomever orders them from her, and then the proceeds go to Turning Point.
It's amazing.
So she does keep busy, so it's,
I'm fortunate I can still thread a needle.
yes, you are. I have a hard time.
My health has been pretty good, and I still have my wits about me.
Yes, you do.
I just count my blessings and carry on one day at a time.
Yeah, that's wonderful, one day at a time, and you are a blessing to us too, so thank you and congratulations. Yeah.
Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you. Well, Shirley, here, it's, you know what? As Mr. Radke says, he wanted to know the secret. My mother's 97, and she still goes to senior citizens 3 times a week. She's able to do a lot of things for, by herself, gets around her house by herself. But I think what you said about keeping busy is what kept her active. She worked when she didn't have to, and now, as she's been retired for so many years, I can't even think, but she just enjoys, giving. If it's a bake sale or whatever, she's the one that's in the kitchen making the baked goods. So I think that is the secret, and it keeps your mind moving, you're around younger people, and I wish you nothing but good health and many, many more years. So, like I said, in Polish, we say stolat, but it means may you live 100 years, but you're already there. So, I'm glad you did it. So, happy birthday.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Well, my mom is the youngster. She's going to be 93 this year. And yes, she is still very active in her ladies' club, and she loves to travel, and she loves to do things with her grandchildren. And I say that keeps her young and engaged. And we're very lucky and fortunate to have her, just like your family is extremely lucky to have you. And I wish you nothing but the best. God bless. I'm sure you could tell us a few stories about how Sterling Heights was way back in the day. And it'd be good to have over coffee a nice little conversation about some of the history. So best of luck to you. Happy birthday, and have a healthy year.
Council, Mr. Mike.
Sure, yeah. Shirley, congratulations. Happy 100-year birthday. I'm just wondering, could you tell us a little bit about your story? You know, we can be here all night with that, but why did you decide to come out here in Sterling Heights? Could you tell us a little bit about your parents? Where did they originate from? Your move to come out here in Sterling Heights? Could you share with us a little bit of that?
And then why did you come out to Sterling Heights?
My parents are from, well, actually, my grandparents were from Sweden and England. And my parents did not have the genes. My dad passed away at 58 and my mother at 62. But I will say, back then, my mother had high blood pressure and all they did was tell her, don't eat salt. There were no medications, no nothing. So, I mean, I can count my blessings. I have all that going for me where they did not. So you just go on, do what you do, what's available for you. And when the doctor tells you to do something, do it. I know so many people say, I'm not gonna take those pills. Well, then why bother going to the doctor?
Right, exactly.
So how did you get out to Sterling Heights? It was before Sterling Heights.
Sterling Township, right? Where did you, I'm just curious, where did you live in 1957 in Sterling Heights? What street or drive? I mean, I'm trying to imagine what it was like. It was probably very rural, not many homes out here. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, well, when we moved in, there weren't all the trees there are now. They were little stems just starting. You know? And, but no, I live in Dresden Village. It's the first subdivision of the city. And I have great neighbors. I'm thankful because nowadays it seems like neighbors don't even talk to one another, let alone, I mean, my neighbors have been wonderful and we look out for each other and I think it's just been a great experience.
Again, thank you very much. Congratulations. Our community is so lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Majak. Mr. Yanis.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, congratulations. It's a wonderful milestone, no doubt about it. But I understand that you had previously a birthday birthday event. Can you tell us some of the people who were at that birthday party?
What people were at the Packard?
Yes, that was quite a party, yes. I always say, when my daughter gives a party, she gives a party. And there were over 200 people there. It was a great experience. Everyone was happy and, you know, when you have a smile on your face, it makes everybody else happy too.
For sure.
Well, it must really mean something to you to have touched so many lives, and I'm sure it's just a lot of wonderful memories, and many more to come, right? Yeah. All right. Well, happy birthday to you. Mark Hackle came. Well, this is a much better party.
Yes, did you get a blanket too?
And Mark Tisdall, the U.S. representative, state representative.
State rep,
from
yeah.
Rochester.
Nice.
And he sang also, he's a great singer.
Oh.
And a representative from Senator Gary
Peters'
Peters,
office, yeah.
His regional director was there, and they all
Nice.
gave presentations from the state.
It's
That was
wonderful.
nice.
Wonderful. Well, again, happy birthday and congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council. Shirley, happy birthday. We wish you many, many more years. I've had the opportunity to go to many 100-year birthday parties here and since being mayor. And I think the oldest I went to was 106. 106. So you got it. But I'll be honest with you. In my professional career, I work as a probate and estate planning attorney. And so I have the opportunity a lot of times to meet with clients who are either elderly or their kids are dealing with parents. It is remarkable how articulate you are, how as you said, you've kept your wits about you. It's quite a blessing, and you're a very lucky woman, and we're very lucky to have you. So one more big congratulations. Well, we thank you guys for being here. Thank the family as well. And again, wish you nothing but luck as you continue to live here in this great city of Sterling Heights. Mr. Vanderpool, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, Mayor, there's nothing on my report left that can top that. So I'm sorry, but I do want to remind everyone that we have Thursdays in Dodge Park starting this Thursday, so everyone can look forward to that. The farmers market starts at 3 p.m. this Thursday. Patios and Pints starts at 5 p.m. And then we have music in the park that starts at 7 p.m. And that'll be going on all summer long. And it's wonderful. Thousands of people go to this. Those of you who have been there know it grows every year. To me, it's very exciting to see all the traffic backed up. It seems like for miles because people want to be here, and it's really cool. It's the epicenter of excitement in this area, not just Sterling Heights, for the area. So starting this Thursday, you can look forward to that. And so tonight must be history night because we have a special presentation on our oral history project. And our administrative assistant in the clerk's office, Jennifer Good, is going to start this presentation.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Vanderpool, and members of the public. It's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Friedman, our former city clerk records intern. I had the opportunity to serve as her mentor during her time with us, although to be honest, mentor might be a strong word. My role was simply to guide her to the right resources and trying not to get in her way. She took it from there and did an excellent job compiling an oral history presentation while also gaining experience through the city's internship program. We were lucky to have her with us, and I'm very proud of the work she has done. Tonight, she'll share her presentation, a brief video, and a few words about her experience. Please join me in welcoming Sarah Friedman.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Vanderpool, and members of the public. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak about the Sterling Heights Oral History Project and my experiences as an intern for the Office of the City Clerk. It brings me great joy to share this exciting project as a capstone of my internship. First, I would like to provide an overview of my internship experience. In September 2025, I joined the Office of the City Clerk as an intern through the City of Sterling Heights College Internship Program. As a recent graduate who studied history and archaeology, this was an incredible opportunity to gain valuable work experience and to explore how my love of history could align with the priorities and functions of a municipal government. During my time as an intern, I received a comprehensive introduction to the City Clerk's office. I assisted with different tasks for the November 2025 election. I learned about passport processing. I researched historical cemeteries that reside in the city, and I gained a thorough understanding of records management laws and guidelines in the state of Michigan. Under the guidance of the Office of the City Clerk, especially my direct mentor, Jennifer Good, I learned about records retention schedules and assisted in the cleaning and organization of important city records. I also had the opportunity to brainstorm innovative ways to rethink and maximize current record storage practices to protect important historic records for the city. As I spent more and more time with the city's historical records, I realized how rich Sterling Heights' past was, and I started brainstorming creative ways to capture more of its history for future generations. At the same time, I met and collaborated with the Sterling Heights Historical Commission, including Mitchell Mulroy of the Sterling Heights Public Library. Through this collaboration with the Historical Commission and the library, I was introduced to an oral history project conducted in the 1980s with important figures in Sterling Heights' government and community in the early to mid 20th century. I realized how incredible it would be to embark on another installment of oral history interviews and capture more about the city from the 1980s to the present day. With the encouragement of the city clerk and the city clerk's office, as well as the input of the Historical Commission, I compiled a list of a variety of figures in the city's recent history. From city council members to the city manager to city attorneys, I identified interviewees who could share their experiences and perspectives on the city's more recent past. I am incredibly grateful to all of those who agreed to interview. It was a joy to meet you all, and I have learned so much from you. I am also grateful to the clerk and the deputy clerk for their encouragement, and to Jennifer Good for her continued support and willingness to jump in and conduct some interviews. I would also like to thank SHTV for their support with filming and editing, and to the Historical Commission for their assistance. The videos have been edited and created, and transcripts have been created as well for all interviews, with the hopes of making videos accessible for all those interested in learning about Sterling Heights' history. Now I would like to share a video that SHTV edited of a compilation of some of the highlights from the oral history interviews. If you could describe Sterling Heights in one word, what would it be, and could you explain why?
Oh, wow, that is a challenge.
What would that one word be?
One word?
Spectacular.
Diverse.
Prosperity.
It is a great place to work
Thriving.
and live
I don't use one word.
and play.
Positive. Positive. And welcoming and fun.
The word I'll use is home, and not just because it's home for me. For the people who call Sterling Heights home, I think that they can rest assured that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe. We're doing everything we can to be good stewards of their tax dollars that they send us every year. And all of those things, and not to mention the progressive policies of being inclusive and welcoming to people of different sexual orientations and races and genders and identities.
Over a period of time, the population started to shift some, and it became more diverse. It was really pretty cool to see that shift.
I think that because of the unity that we have with council, administration, all of our employees, and being able to directly connect with our residents and feel that we are approachable, that's what makes us who we are.
Our employees are positive, our residents are positive, council is positive. I think as a whole, everybody tries to stay as positive as possible.
You know, a city's work is never done. The city will continue to grow and evolve and transform.
We can't seem to build enough hotel rooms to house the people that are coming in, just to assist with our thriving businesses. And I think that's a pretty good thing.
All of those things are what you need for a community to be a good home. And so to me, that's what I think of when I think of Sterling Heights.
You want a one word, right? It's a nice place. How's that? 2 words.
Well, my hope is that, you know, this period of progressiveness and growth and transformation, stability, and financial stability especially, continues for many, many decades to come.
Good job.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Mr. Vanderpool, and members of the public for your time and attention. I am available for questions.
Council, any comments, questions? Mrs. Arco.
Just good job. I think that with all of the interviews, if somebody missed something, another person picked it up. So I think we covered everything that we love about Sterling Heights, about what we love, you know, living here, serving here. So thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you.
Council, anyone else? I would just say that too. Congratulations, a job well done. I think that this is going to be something that hopefully people for many generations can look back on and say, just as Councilman Myjack was asking Shirley, tell us what it was like when you moved here. That's so important to people now that they want to know the roots and where they came from. So the idea was amazing. The execution was just as good. So great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And needless to say, Sarah is a rising star. She was part of our intern class a year or so ago. We are committed to getting her back one day in a full-time position. We have an award-winning internship program. We have about 20 every year, and it's clear to see that they do great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mayor, on your agenda tonight, on the consent agenda, is a resolution supporting a piece of legislation that would extend our Velocity Collaboration Center, better known as our Smart Zone. And we hope that's approved this evening. But with us tonight to talk about the great work that is going on in our Velocity Collaboration Center is the Executive Director, Paula McPherson, and she's joined by Megan Hobbs, a Small Business Program Manager as well. They're going to talk a little bit about all the exciting initiatives. Paula comes to us every few months to update all of you, and the good work is continuing.
Thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. Thank you, Mayor and members of City Council for having us this evening. We're very excited to share with you some updates for not only last year's year in review. I think this is pretty stellar. We were able to award $652,000 in grants, both direct cash grants and technical assistance to businesses that we worked with. And we attracted $68 million in investment to the businesses we worked with. And for those of you that were here last year, you'll remember we did $19.2 million in investment, and this year we did $68 million. So I'm really proud of the team. We more than doubled our work year over year, and so it's very exciting to be able to be at the helm of this. We helped to start 21 new companies, and we also attracted 8 new businesses to Sterling Heights, and I think the most important thing to note there is 3 of those businesses came from outside of the country, one from Israel, one from Spain, and one from Canada. In addition to that, we had 69 accelerator clients and 131 incubator clients served. This is just a quick snapshot of events that we have coming up. We have a ribbon cutting actually tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, Velocity serves as the international landing zone for all of Macomb County. That means that through our work in partnership with the county, we help to attract businesses from outside of the country as well as outside of the state. Ash Interactive is one of those businesses. You may have seen we've had some press around it. They are an up-and-coming marketing firm from the Indianapolis area. They decided to branch out into Michigan, and they chose Velocity to be their home, and so we're thrilled to have them with us. We'll be doing a ribbon cutting for them tomorrow evening with Connect Macomb. We'll also be showing off our new podcast lounge. We were gifted equipment through MCM Learning to launch this, and it's been a wonderful asset at Velocity. A lot of our entrepreneurs are now able to go in and film, and maybe they don't necessarily want to have a podcast, but they just like to film some video assets that they could use for marketing, social media, and promotion. And having the gift of this space and now having a professional production company in-house allows us to give that as a service. And then, of course, we have our Founders First Friday, which is one of our signature events, and we have upcoming with AJ Dopke, Put Me on Google. It's part of our Coffee and Conversation series. Our focus is always to give entrepreneurs educational pieces that will help them lift their business up while saving money. And then Donuts in Defense, we're partnered with NAMC. That's coming up July 15th. If you haven't been to one, you definitely want to be attending one. It's pretty impressive. Mr. Vanderpool attended the last one. I think we had 7 people fly in from 6 different states. We're really commanding quite a room now. We had close to 150 people in attendance this last one. As you may have seen in the news, we've also been awarded a grant through SEMCA to do some workforce retraining at Velocity. And while this isn't necessarily our core of things that we do understand that drones really are a big and upcoming industry. And so we want to make sure that folks in Sterling Heights and greater Macomb County have an opportunity to get in on the action and get the education around it so that they can become employable and or maybe just grow their business in another direction. This program has been going on. So far, we served 21 participants. This next cohort that we have starting this Saturday has 38 participants. And July is shaping up, and we're on track to probably somewhere around 30 or 40 for that one as well. Another thing that we have launched at Velocity is the Manufacturers Directory. As you know, we work with high-tech manufacturers, aerospace, defense, any of the areas that touch defense or high-tech manufacturing. One of the things that we have found through our work with these manufacturers is that there is not a good singular place for them to go to be able to find supply chain that supports the business that they're doing. So for instance, we'll have someone who is talking about, oh, I need to onshore all the pieces that I'm doing now for the defense industry. And maybe they're having a hard time finding a leaf spring. And trying to find that person is proving to be difficult. Well, we've now launched this directory. It's right on our website. Manufacturers can go on there, self-register themselves, put their capability statements out, and we're finding it's really amazing how many manufacturers, not only in Macomb County, but across the state, are now finding one another and doing business. So it's a part of our effort to really keep this defense work that happens here in Macomb County, and in particular in Sterling Heights and Warren, that we're keeping that local and that we're supporting local manufacturing. And then lastly, the last piece that I want to share is our CEO Roundtable. We launched this about a year ago. This has been a wonderful program that we've put on. We bring together CEOs or someone in the organization who has P&L responsibility. It's the decision makers that come together in the room. There are no cameras, there are no computers, there is no note-taking. This is just pure networking, one-to-one, and it allows manufacturers to be able to talk to one another about challenges that they're having, how they're solving for those challenges. In the beginning of the year, we found a lot of manufacturers that were struggling with tariffs. We're also talking a lot about workforce and ESTA laws. And so it's really helping us to dive in, be able to talk with these CEOs and vice presidents of these businesses, and also learn, and it helps us guide how we fundraise, what we look for funding for, and the types of education that we bring to our local manufacturers. Next up, I want to have Megan talk a little bit about a program that we have been running almost a year now with some fellows that we've been bringing in from all over the world. As the International Landing Zone, we've realized that we do have a need to spread our wings. We can't always get on planes and go places, but we certainly can create good ambassadorship relationships. And so Megan really has been the spearhead of this. And with our fall fellows that we had, Megan was offered a reverse fellowship, and she went to Morocco. And so I want her to share about her experience as well as the latest group of fellows that we had.
Hi, thank you for having me. So we were able to host two fellows back in September in partnership with the Department of State and Legacy International and Global Ties Detroit. They wanted to give professional fellows from the MENA region, the Middle East and North Africa, an opportunity to connect, share cultural experiences, entrepreneurship, and small business development with each other. So we hosted Mohammed from Algeria and Moleh Hassan from Morocco. We connected them with some of our small businesses in the community where they could learn about how they gain support, how Velocity is able to support them, what their struggles are, what the gaps are, and then share their experiences with the work that they're doing in their own countries. So as a reciprocal exchange, I got to go to Morocco for 10 days. I did 4 presentations and 1 panel discussion on everything from how to pitch your business and also how to, if you're creative, how to use your artistic ability to create a small business. And I was able to participate in the alumni meeting, which was celebrating the 250-year partnership between Morocco and the United States. Morocco was the first country to recognize the United States' independence 250 years ago. So it's a long-standing partnership. They've had over 10,000 exchanges to the United States. And so I was honored to be a part of that. And in the spring, just recently, this past week, they had to head back home, but we had 3 new fellows, 2 from Egypt and 1 from Algeria. And we were able to host, that's them right there. That's Mohammed and Abdullah and, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Abdul Fattah. So we were able to show them all around Sterling Heights, and they said they had been to Washington, D.C. Some of them had been to Boston, and some of them it was their first time in the United States, and they said Sterling Heights did feel like home. So that was really, they said it's just so amazing being here. But this was an exciting program. We're honored to be able to do this and host and show all that Sterling Heights has to offer, to learn from their small business experience and share what we're doing here. And one takeaway I learned is in Morocco, they want to make sure everything is set and figured out before they launch. They look for stability, and what they wanted to learn from us is how to take that leap and find that balance between our two cultures. This was our last Global Innovation Day. We had all 11 fellows, and then 14 of the youth fellowship exchange at Velocity, and 14 people did a 3-minute pitch, and it was really exciting to hear all their innovative ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council, you can see there's a lot of great work going on at Velocity. We're lucky to have this one-of-a-kind center, not only in Sterling Heights, but in Macomb County. So we appreciate their good work. And Mayor, I'm just about done, but I wanted to give a shout out to our Road Division Supervisor, Ken Schwartz. We've had about 8 days of unbelievable weather. It couldn't be any better, but you may recall 9 days or so ago, we had some massive storms that ripped through the city, and there was a lot of storm damage. There was a lot of outages across the city, and over the last week, thanks to Ken's leadership, we completed 500 locations where we chipped branches all across the community. In addition to completing all the other work, getting ready for the Memorial Day Parade, tending the road work, all the other stuff that Public Works does, somehow they got to 500 stops to clean up the community, get the community swept, and you would never know those storms came through our city now. So a shout out to Mr. Schwartz and his entire team. And Mayor, lastly, at the conclusion of tonight's agenda, I'm requesting the City Council convene a closed session pursuant to Section 8C of the Open Meetings Act to consider the purchase or lease of real property. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. We do have a presentation tonight, and this is to adopt a resolution honoring and thanking Clark A. Andrews for more than 50 years of distinguished service to the city of Sterling Heights and its residents. For this, we do have a presentation by our city attorney, Mark Kashubski. Mr. Kashubski.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be turning it over to Councilwoman Zarko in a second, but I wanted to thank Council for the opportunity for me to express some gratitude towards Mr. Andrews. I met Clark 22 years ago when I first joined the law firm O'Reilly Rancilio PC. In fact, at that time it was known as O'Reilly Rancilio, Nitz, Andrews, Turnbull, and Scott PC. And I joked with Clark when I came in that they dropped all the names because Kashubski could never be in that title. When I sat down with Clark as a young associate, the thing I always remember about Clark was that when I sat with him, he immediately told me what was going on with the law firm, what it took to succeed in the law firm, and most importantly, the standard that he set as himself as an assistant city attorney and his representation of the city, its residents, and its council. And I took that to heart, I really did, because I started working on Sterling projects almost immediately upon me being hired. So from that point forward, I would talk with Clark about a lot of things, and it wasn't just always about work. Clark was a great mentor. He was a mentor for everything, from family life to fatherhood to just life in general. I'm a better father, I'm a better husband, I'm a better attorney because of Clark. And I appreciated everything he's done for me as my colleague and partner for many, many years. I wouldn't be sitting here today without Clark. Clark has been a mentor from the day I took this position over in 2016. He was there to back me and make sure that I kept the standards that he kept, and he told me about when I first started back in 2004. So, Clark, I appreciate you. I was happy to trick you to come here tonight. I know it was a surprise, and that's what made it fun. So I'm going to now turn it over to Councilwoman Ziarko to do the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Koszewski. We're glad you're here, Clark. We knew we'd get you back here one way or another. Clark A. Andrews has dedicated more than 50 years of exemplary legal services to the residents, businesses, institutions, and community organizations of the city of Sterling Heights. Since graduating from, it's not written here, from Cosno in 1967, and then from the University of Michigan Law School in 1974, Clark has worked at the city attorney's office, providing the city and its residents with invaluable legal counsel in planning and zoning, municipal contracts, elections, intergovernmental agreements, ordinance drafting, and economic development. There is no doubt that his legal counsel has played a pivotal role in supporting the city's growth, governance, infrastructure development, and long-term success. Over his 5 decades of practice, Clark built a distinguished legal career marked by integrity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the public service and the city of Sterling Heights. Clark has contributed substantially to the advancement of municipal law and civic engagement through his leadership and participation in numerous professional, educational, charitable, and civic organizations. He has received numerous honors and recognition throughout his career, including most recently being recognized with the 2025 Richard Noddy Civic Leadership Award from the Sterling Heights Area Community Foundation, recognizing his exceptional service to the city of Sterling Heights and his many years of active membership with the Rotary Club of Sterling Heights, Connect Macomb, members of UCS Foundation for Educational Excellence, and active volunteerism with other civic and community organizations. City Council, on behalf of itself, city administration, and its residents, wishes to formally recognize and express sincere gratitude for Clark's extraordinary dedication, outstanding legal counsel, and lasting contribution to the city and its residents over the course of more than 5 decades of service, and to wish Clark and his family continued health and happiness in his retirement. Do you want me to do the resolution now or talk?
Well, I think we should probably.
Do the resolution?
We can do the resolution
Okay.
now unless you want, yeah, let's do the resolution now.
Resolved to adopt the resolution honoring and thanking Clark A. Andrews for more than 50 years of distinguished service to the city of Sterling Heights and its residents.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Zarko?
Well, it sounds like a choir of support.
Of course.
For good reason. The reason why I know what year Clark graduated from high school is because he graduated with my husband. And even before I was on council and was involved in, the city administration, Tom would follow Clark's career through all of his accomplishments with the city and with the law firm. So it was like their own class reunion, the two of them coming together, and it was where they had a chance to share the past and look forward to the future. So there wasn't an event that they were both at that they weren't sitting and talking in a corner somewhere. But I have to say that most of what I was thinking was mentioned in our resolution is your professionalism, your ethics, your consistency as far as anything we asked, or the fact that you pretty much wrote our charter. And every time we ask a question about an ordinance or an amendment to that ordinance, you would say, oh, it's on page so-and-so, paragraph a subsection, you know, it's there, but wait a minute, I'll go back and check and make sure I'm right. And you usually were right, so you knew what you had it memorized. But on a personal level, when my daughter applied for the job at the chamber, and she was asked to give references, and so some of the board members interviewed the references. And I remember after she got the job, one of the references said, he didn't want to be biased because he knew your mom and and your dad, but it was like, I thought you were running for president by the way he asked the questions and the clearing that you had to have in order to get the job. And even when Stacy got the job, Clark was there always and still is, that helps her, gives her advice, gives her corrections. But yes, so you have definitely become a part of the city family and my family. I can't thank you enough for all that you've done. This is so well deserved. And I wish the only thing yet coming is a street that says Clark Andrews Way, because there is no other way but Clark Andrews Way. And to think that you have been doing this half of Shirley's age. So, you know, it's like.
There you go.
So it's commendable that you found it rewarding, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you for being a presence in our lives, in all of our lives, and our residents' lives. And I just wish you the best in your retirement. We're going to stop over for dinner, too, all of us.
Jeez, poor Beth.
Nothing further.
Council, anyone else?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Schmidt.
Thank you. Clark, congratulations. Beth, good luck. You know, I can think back, 23 and a half years ago when I first met Clark, and one of my very first city council meetings Clark was at, and at the time there was a council person that was kind of really rude and shredding Clark, and I didn't know any better. I was new up here, and I'm like, oh my God. So I called Clark the next day and I said, I have to apologize to you for the way you were treated. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It happens. It's the business, And you are such a gracious person. And talk about history. The halls around here, you have seen and done it all. And the city wouldn't be what it is without your guidance and your professionalism. If there was a question that had to do with zoning or building or anything, planning, anything, Clark had that answer. And he was willing to step up and help anybody that needed it. And I will say that Clark's most important things in his life right now are cooking, which some of his things look really delicious, gardening, but most importantly, his grandchildren and his family. But he never misses the opportunity to ask about my family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the friendship and the guidance and always being available to all of us, and you are not replaceable, Mr. Andrews. But you're not going anywhere. We know where to find you. So best of luck. Enjoy your travels. Get out. See the world. You deserve it. And Beth, good luck. Have fun. Have fun. Nothing, Mayor. Nothing more.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. So I have been on council for, this is my 12th year, going on my 12th year, and I had the pleasure of meeting Clark long before that through my husband, who works, in the legal world. And he, and I don't think any lawyer doesn't, hold you in high, high esteem. You are a lawyer's lawyer. You know the business. You are kind and compassionate and patient, as Maria said, with all of us that aren't lawyers, but also with your colleagues. And that is not easy to do. Sometimes there's a little bit of a, they're a little spicy. So I really want to thank you for setting up our city in such a great way, because it was as has been said, your knowledge and your expertise that has put us in the position we are today. So thank you very much. And Beth, is my pleasure getting to know you as well, and the kids. Yeah, you have a wonderful family, And I am so happy that you are going to be able to enjoy it now, Clark, to the fullest, and congratulations. You're welcome.
Mr. Radke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't know you went to Cosno, Clark. I'm also a graduate of Cosno High School.
There you go.
We're all patriots here, so it's tremendous. Congratulations on your retirement. You've now stayed retired longer than I ever expected.
It's true.
So, you'll be welcome back next week or whenever you feel. But no, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. This is a well-earned honor. I've been here for almost 10 years, and I think that you're a font of knowledge. You knew our rules and regulations back and forth, but more than that, you are like an original historian of all that came before. And with you leaving, I guess we're leaving one of the first people who was here for the whole ride of what Sterling Heights was and how it was created. So I'm happy to give you this honor, and we should find some other way to honor you. You're going to be missed, and I think they still have your desk in the office. So whenever you feel like wandering in, I'm sure they'll let you come on back. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else? Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Andrews, you are a man of character. You are a character. You're also a man of character. So I just have to tell you this story. Everybody's building you up here. I'm going to embarrass myself. When I first got on city council, we were at some sort of luncheon event in Harrison Township at the marina, and I really didn't know everybody, and I was talking to somebody about some issue, and they said, well, you have to talk to Don Denault. And I said, well, okay, where's he at? And he said, well, he's sitting at that table over there. And I'm like, for some reason, I thought you were Don Denault. So I go running over there, because I don't think we met. And I tapped you on the shoulder and say, Don, you got a minute? You turned around and looked at me and said, I'm not Don. And I was like, oh. And ever since then, I never forgot who Clark Andrews was. So, and I got to learn, every time I have a conversation with you, I learn so much. In drips and drabs, but you were very precise and very direct, and you left no blanks. There was never any question by the time our conversation was done. I didn't know what I came to ask you for, and I can't thank you enough. And again, you are a man of character, and congratulations on the end of a first career, and good luck in your second career as a retiree. Come on in, as I tell the other retirees, come on in, the water's fine. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Yanis. Yeah, look, I don't know what more to say. That's already been said. I think back to the first few years that I was on council, and just the kindness and the generosity that you shared with me, and I'll never forget it. I think that you are somebody who's elevated the profession of lawyer in Macomb County. You've been somebody that I've looked up to, and I'm proud to have served in this capacity with you. Clark, you'll be very missed, but not really, because as I've said before, if you look at literally any neighborhood in the city of Sterling Heights, or any park in the city of Sterling Heights, or any business in the city of Sterling Heights, any development that's happened here over the last 50 years, your fingerprints are on it. And so to the people who know, they'll remember, and whether you're retired or actively working, there's nothing that anybody can do that can take away all that you've done for this city. It's been an incredible career, and I wish you and Beth just nothing but the best. On behalf of my wife, Christina, who's grown to be friends with you both, we just wish you nothing but great years. And, hopefully in some, I'm not going to say how many years, because honestly, I don't really know. But when you turn 100, we'd like to have you back here to celebrate your birthday too. All right? You got tough competition, but I think what more can be said? Congratulations on your retirement. Let's vote and then give Clark a big round of applause. Council, with no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Clark. Let's let's give him an opportunity.
I just want to say,
Well, then, everybody relax, because Clark's talking.
yeah, well, I'll try to be short. Those of you that know me know that's not really one of my strong suits at all. I want to thank everybody here for all of the support and kind words. I started as a city attorney in this community at the ripe old age of 24 years old. And I stayed here until I was 76 years old. And Paul Riley and Ken Rancilio at the firm hired me. I pestered them to get a job because I really thought that this was a great community and that a place that I wanted to be. And I also wanted to be a part of an organization that had a lot of integrity. That was very important to me. And I got some very good mentoring from that group about that. And that was very important to me. And I have tried to pass that on to the younger people in the law firm, including Mark, but not just him. I want to thank him for the kind words. He's been not only a great professional colleague, but a wonderful friend as well. We've shared a lot of cooking ideas and family raising ideas and all kinds of things like that. And I would be remiss if I didn't say how lucky I was to have made a decision when I was like 22 years old to marry my wife when I met her at Michigan State. We got married at the Alumni Chapel and have 3 wonderful kids and 5 grandkids that we enjoy a lot. Beth retired 6 years before I did, and she really wanted me to join that club. And it was very difficult for me to make that transition because I liked what I did, and I really loved the people that I did it with. And if somebody had said to me when I was 24 years old that I would end up working till I was 76, I would have said, "You're crazy," you know? But I did end up doing that. And anyway, I've had a wonderful ride in being a city attorney in Sterling Heights. I appreciate all of the support of everybody, and I did the best I knew how to do, and my parents taught me to be honest and try to do the right thing all the time, and that's what I tried to do, and that always served me well, and I tried to instill that in my kids, and I'm working on the grandkids, you know, so thank you so much. It's been a wonderful ride. I also want to say that part of the reason that I had a tough time retiring is I met so many wonderful people in the city staff and city administration who became not just my professional colleagues, but also my friends. And I always tried to be helpful to people, and I always felt they treated me very respectfully, and I very much appreciated that. So I won't say more, but it's been a great ride, and thank you. I have no need for a street name, though. Thank you very much.
You gotta take a picture, Clark.
Oh, Clark.
I don't know how I got this, but I think it was seniority.
He was the horse.
And because we're the same age, maybe?
Okay, let's put you right there.
Yeah, sit in the middle. Stand in the middle. Mike? Michael Taylor.
Thank you, Mark. Clark,
Thank you very much.
Here, Clark, we're gonna get a big picture. Come on, next to Barb.
Great. Here, Clark, hold it with me, Clark. Clark, hold it. All right, hold that for me. Got you here. Perfect.
And I don't know what's in here, but open it, you gotta show us what's in there.
Clark, you're gonna, I don't want this, Clark.
Give it to Beth, Beth will take it home. It'll be to Beth, give it to Beth.
It's a Ziploc bag.
We don't know. I don't know. Well, it's not pokey, so it's not, well, poke through, but it's not a point. It's like a thing that bent. Oh, that's a hard one.
Oh,
That's
the
a
handle.
hard one. Well, at least.
Here.
Well, yes, but that was a surprise.
Oh, my goodness. It's not a pin after all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody.
Don't lose that.
All right, I won't.
So you
Thank
can
you
hang
very
your
much.
picture.
Oh, thank you.
All right. We will move on now to the next item on our agenda tonight. And we thank everybody for being here for these presentations. Truly appreciate it. And a lot of great presentations tonight. But on to the next item. This is an ordinance introduction. This is to introduce the final amendment to the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget with a presentation by our Assistant Budget and Finance Director, Nick Mackey. Mr. Mackey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Koszewski, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Let me say what a wonderful council meeting to be a part of. I'm happy to keep the emotional roller coaster going with a budget presentation. Toward the end of the fiscal year, the Budget Office prepares a final amendment to the appropriations ordinance to estimate how we expect to finish the fiscal year, which ends June 30th. So that's what I will be presenting this evening. I'll start with the general fund. General fund revenues are projected to come in $7.1 million or 5.3% higher than originally budgeted. This is primarily due to the Tier 3 property tax reimbursement received in May that is not included in the operating budget. In prior years, these funds have been used to fund one-time expenditures such as renovations to Fire Station 5. However, this year, we're proposing that these funds be reserved unallocated in the general fund balance until greater clarity is determined on several pending legislative items that could, among other things, eliminate all personal property taxes. This proposal alone could create an annual $4.6 million hole in our operating budget. We anticipate bringing proposed uses for these funds, which will include solicited council input, with the first amendment in fiscal year 27, which would take place in December of 2026, pending more clarity with these legislative items. Investment income continues to be higher than anticipated due to a delay in the expected reduction of interest rates by the Fed. Reimbursement for police security details were higher than anticipated. Grant revenue exceeded budgeted expectations by $400,000, and transport fees increased $300,000 over budget. On the other side, reductions in general fund revenues related to continued declines in cable TV revenue were realized, and less ticket revenue being received than expected. General fund expenditures are expected to be in line with the amended budget in total. The overages in police and fire are being offset by reductions in city administration, public works, and the 41A district court. Noted underages in city administration, public works, and the 41A district court were related to positional vacancies due to the timing of hires, insurance savings, and reduced irrigation costs for city facilities. Police expenditures are expected to be about $400,000 more than originally budgeted. These increases are largely due to the previously noted increased security details, which are reimbursed to the city. Fire expenditures are also expected to increase by about $400,000. Increases in fire are related to an additional $190,000 for grant-funded physicals, with the balance being personnel and overtime costs. These personnel and overtime costs increases are related to turnover, which require backfilling and payouts of accumulated leave and benefits. The bottom line is that for the current fiscal year, we'll be adding about $6.2 million to fund balance, which helps us hedge against revenue uncertainty resulting from proposed legislation in the near term. Again, our plan is not to hold these funds in perpetuity, but to wait for more clarity on the proposed legislation before allocating these funds to projects, which again will hopefully be with the first amendment for the fiscal year 2027. Here's a look at our general fund balance over time. You'll note that the general fund balance will remain strong at over 30% of expenditures through next fiscal year. And now on to our other budgeted funds. The budgets for these other funds increased by a total of $619,000. Significant changes are noted on the chart up on the screen. Increases in the major and local road funds relate to additional expenditures for construction projects and increased costs for snow and ice removal. Some of the construction projects include the 18-mile road bridge over the Plumbrook Drain, the Dobry Trail, signal modernization for city and county roads, and advanced spending for the 2026 local road sectional repair program, all of which have been or will be, as of tonight, approved by council. The capital projects fund budget decreased due to the transfer of residual Red Run Park expenditures to the Pathways to Play and Preservation Fund. The Parks and Recreation Fund is down $290,000 due to savings in part-time wages, reduced irrigation costs, and savings on contracted services. Forfeitures decreased $175,000, with most of that being due to a reduction in Act 302 training, as well as some capital expenditures. CDBG decreased $219,000 due to cost savings on the Beaver Creek parking lot renovation and Doncaster Drive reconstruction, and all other funds increased a total of $145,000. To summarize, the final budget amendment highlights the city's continued strong financial position. We're once again adding to fund balance, hedging against uncertainty. We continue to have low taxes, low water rates, low debt funded by dedicated revenue sources, and all of this is reflected by our excellent bond rating. Mr. Mayor, this is the first reading of this ordinance, which is scheduled for adoption at the June 16th City Council meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mackey. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolved to introduce the final amendment to the appropriations ordinance for the 25-26 fiscal year.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Sarowski?
Just very, very briefly. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Mackey for the presentation and the Budget Director, Jennifer Varney, who is short on her time here with us. I do really appreciate that our budget is up, has a plus. Any plus is great, but 5% is wonderful, so happy to see that. And other than that, it's been explained very well, and I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again, Mr. Mackey. Next is the consent agenda with the omission of item O from the consent agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on anything on the consent agenda? Mr. Smith?
Well, it's good of you to take O off. That'll let that get its own discussion, which it deserves. I noticed item R, continuing to use the Chaldean Center as a alternative voting place. I give you a positive response on that one. I voted at the Chaldean Center last time, and a lot of people voted there. People who weren't Chaldeans voted there. And it's a relief to have a voting center in a place that's not a government building, because it's rather oppressive to have voters go into somebody that wants to raise the taxes as high as they can and increase government to have to go and vote in a government building. So it's a relief to have the Chaldean Center in, and it would be nice to get maybe one of the Polish or Italian banquet centers also put in lieu of the recreation center, which was built with our tax money for recreation, not for government business. That doing government business in the recreation center is kind of doubly bad. Number one, it's a misuse of tax money, and it's voting on government grounds on government business, which intimidates people who have good reason to be afraid of the government. this HB 5031, I can't really fully comprehend that, nor can I any of these bills. They're kind of in government gibberish that you need a team of lawyers to try to read what they're doing. But apparently this is a tax break that there's something in it for you, and therefore you want it, and we can talk about these other tax breaks that you oppose later. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else on the consent agenda? Okay, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
move to approve the consent agenda as amended. Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item up is a consideration item. This is to consider whether.
Mr. Mayor? Before the next item, could I request a 10-minute recess?
10-minute recess. Okay, council, any
objection.
Any objection? Okay, we'll take, it's 8:10. We'll come back at 8:20. We'll stand in recess for 10 minutes. Okay, calling this meeting back to order. We are on consideration item A, which is to consider whether to place two potential ballot questions on the November 3rd, 2026 election to amend sections 4.06 and sections 13.03 and 13.04 of the city charter. We do have a presentation from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Actually, Mayor, if you don't mind, we're going to start out with the city attorney, and then I'll do the second part.
Okay, Mr. Koszewski.
I get to talk a lot tonight, Mayor, sorry. Every now and again, the city council is asked to look at the charter and make amendments. Sometimes it's based on changes in market forces or changes in the way things are done. Recently, we did a change to the way elections are done, where we now have 4-year terms for council and a 400 signature requirement. As a result of that, council requested a discussion on the power of appointment by city council when a vacancy is created in elective office that has 2 or more years remaining on the unexpired 4-year term. The city charter currently, section 406, provides the city council shall fill a vacancy in elective office within 60 days. But if that vacancy cannot be filled by a vote of the majority of city council, then a special election shall be conducted within 90 days to fill the vacancy. That, as it currently stands, would mean if somebody were to get appointed to some far-off land or have an issue where they had to resign or otherwise, would allow council to appoint somebody almost immediately to fill all 4 years. Councilman Radke brought up the concept a couple meetings ago that maybe that charter section should be changed to require that if more than 2 years or 2 years or more are remaining on the unexpired term, that it should be turned over to the voters at the next available state election that's 180 days from that vacancy being created to fill that position through a vote, as opposed to having council vote somebody in for that long of a period. So we are proposing a charter amendment that would allow for council to retain the current power with when there's 2 years, or less than 2 years remaining on the unexpired term as it sits today. But however, as Mr. Radke has suggested and council would discuss tonight, that to the extent that there is longer than 2 years or 2 years or more existing on the unexpired term, the council would have that opportunity to appoint, but there would be a special election to fill the vacancy going forward. That is my part.
Okay, Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you very much, Mayor. The second part of this, the second question on the ballot, which we're recommending, pertains to the city charter and the threshold for which items come to city council for formal city council approval. That requires a formal agenda item. In 1968, what the city council and the voters approved was $5,000. Anything below $5,000 did not have to come to city council with a formal agenda item. And the idea behind that was to create efficiencies in government. We were a large organization even back in 1968. So the founding fathers and the electorate decided that was a reasonable threshold, $5,000. Now, $5,000 in 1968 was a substantial amount of money. For example, a Mustang would cost $3,500 in 1968. The median household income was $7,700, and so on. So you can see it's a much different world. $5,000 was a lot of money. That $5,000 is still applicable today. The charter has never been amended to reflect inflation. So with that in mind, we are recommending an update to the charter to simply index that amount to inflation in the spirit of good, efficient government aligned with best practices. Greater efficiencies are created by eliminating formal agenda statements with voluminous backup for items like the purchase of paper products, including toilet paper, batteries, software subscriptions, and other minor routine purchases. And you could imagine, that covers the gamut today. So your agenda packets, for example, are on average 500 pages long. The packet that you're reviewing tonight, the general public probably doesn't realize this, but you have 500 pages of material to review. Every 2 weeks, you have to do that. By indexing this item to inflation, these routine, more mundane, perfunctory items would still require approvals through the formal budget process and through the bill list that City Council approves every council meeting. They just simply wouldn't require formal agenda statements with formal backup material and so on. Approximately 100 agenda items could be saved each year so that City Council and the general public could focus on the other 400 agenda items that you have to approve. The more, I would say, substantial, more meaningful agenda items, especially the large purchases. So the updated amount of $50,000 is not a subjective or arbitrary number. It's a number that was determined by the Federal Consumer Price Index. It's a pretty simple mathematical equation widely used by organizations and so on and so forth. There is no loss of control by either city administration nor the city council with this update. In fact, internal controls would remain the same, including comparative pricing, multiple layers of internal approvals, some of which you've heard about that are controlled by our Office of Purchasing and the purchasing manager, in addition to substantial quality control analyses that are ongoing with a lot of our purchases and projects and so on. As I mentioned, the City Council will still approve every and all expenditures through the annual budget process. We spend over a month going through the budget process formally with City Council and with public hearings and so on. And then in addition to that, every council meeting, the City Council approves the bill listing, which approves you have a chance to look at every expenditure item, even petty cash. And the general public has that same opportunity as well. I also might mention that this aligns with the bid threshold that was recently updated as well to $50,000 also. So there's some consistency with that item as well. So for all these reasons, in the spirit of best practices and good government and efficient government, we're respectfully requesting that the mayor and council approve placing this item on the November election as well to update our city charter. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? Mr. Smith.
Well, it's rather unfair and disrespectful to the people to lump two major items into one item, thereby limiting the time for discussion. You got two giant items rolled into one.
You can have,
60.
Okay, it's a fair point, and if there's no objection, I don't have a problem with people using time for both.
Can we do just the $50,000 first and then do the election later?
Well, I'll give you 8 minutes if you need
Okay,
all
all right,
8
well,
minutes,
okay. Okay, first of all, 60 years ago, the $5,000 was far too generous. Mr. Vanderpool's predecessor could go buy himself a Mustang with no questions asked. So now Mr. Vanderpool wants it so he can go buy a new car with no questions asked. Right now, due to inflation, we're just getting down to really what's reasonable for a pocket change slush fund. The $50,000, you're talking about the property tax of 20 homeowners being spent as if it were nothing, or 2 times the family income at the poverty level of 2 families spent as if it were nothing. So we're supposed to plan ahead and have things on the budget that aren't emergency spending items. So we have so many emergency spending items every 2 weeks that we can't put it on the agenda and talk about it. We should plan ahead that there really should be next to no emergency spending items that require the city manager to waive competitive bidding and just say, all right, yeah, I'll buy that, that's under 50 grand. I'm going to vote against it, and I hope you don't put it on the agenda. The other one, vacancies on council. This is way out of line with virtually every other level of government. That when somebody leaves office, we have a special election, and we elect the replacement by a vote of the people, not a vote of 4 out of 6 council members. 4 out of 6 council members is not the will of the people, it's the will of the surviving council members. Now, 2 years was too long, and 4 years is also too long. And really, any time at all is too long. If somebody leaves city council, let the seat be vacant until the next regular election, and let the will of the people prevail. That cutting it in half is not as big as injustice as it was before, but it's still an injustice. I mean, you could make it 3 years and only appoint them the final year. But then we get into talking about petitioning. If there's a vacancy, are we going to have to go through the 400 petitions to get on the replacement ballot? Or maybe if we don't do away with petitioning at all, we should make it a once-in-a-lifetime deal, that once you've petitioned your candidate, and all of you are relieved of the need to re-petition. I don't think this is right, that 4 out of the 7 of you got your seats by backroom appointments. And after the backroom appointment, then comes the automatic bulletproof incumbency, and you're here for good, because 4 out of 6 people put you here. That should not go on at all. The state house, the state senate, U.S., virtually every office, they had a special election to replace a county commissioner, that they temporarily appointed somebody, but as soon as possible, they had a special election. And if we're going to change the system, that's what we should do here. Just let the seat be vacant until the next regularly scheduled election of any kind. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else on this item? Okay, council, we have the ability to take these in 2 separate motions. Yep. Is there anyone who'd like to make?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Radke.
I'm going to take it 2 separate motions.
Okay.
Resolve to direct city administration to move forward with the process necessary to place on the November 3rd, 2026 election a ballot question to amend section 4.06 of the charter to require that any vacancy in elective office be filled by a special election when 2 or more years remain in the unexpired term of office.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mr. Radke?
Yes, briefly, Mr. Mayor. I asked for this to be brought forward because I saw in a couple of other communities what I had feared had come to pass. There was a township in Oakland County where on the first day after he was sworn into office, the supervisor resigned, and they appointed his deputy to replace him after he had gone through a complete election. And that seemed to be almost the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen in my entire life, because the voters should select the representatives. If you go through an election just to resign, I'm not saying anyone here would do that, but just the idea, it's offensive, because you knew you were doing that on day one, and you misled the voters to do that. So this, I think, keeps the initial idea of the charter, which is that we will appoint for a less than 2-year term, while gives the voters a little bit more control. I'm highly supportive of this. I think it's pretty common sense. I hope we never have to use it, but I want to make sure that if that were to occur, people aren't without representation that they voted on for more than
2 years. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you. Just very briefly, so I also am in favor of this. I think that the vote of the people is extremely important, and they are the ones who do elect us. It is not the power of incumbency that we have, because we have lost council members who were incumbents most recently. So that is not a guarantee, nor is it something to hide behind for us as well. So I just think that this gives the voters being that our terms are now 4 years, gives them the voice that they should have, while not costing residents extra money. Elections are expensive, so you want to be able to be fiscally responsible, which is certainly one of our biggest challenges, or not challenge, or desires, but it's challenging when you have, if you want to mete out every single thing by a vote of the people, we are going to be hitting a very expensive line. So I would like to do this. I think this is reasonable and makes sense while bringing in the vote of the people to the most important parts. So thank you.
All right, Mrs. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Through the chair I'm not sure who can answer this, but I too was wondering about the signature threshold. Through the chair to Mr. Koszybski, if you'd like to address that.
Mr. Koszybski.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Schmidt, so we took that into consideration as part of the 180-day rule. So right now, the charter says you would have the election in 90 days. That's not feasible any longer because of state elections have been set in May, August, and November. So what we did is when there's a vacancy that's created, it creates a 180-day window. Before, you can't have it on election without that 180-day window, which would allow candidates to get their 400 signatures, get on the ballot, and run.
Okay.
So that was the intent of the 180 days.
Okay, should we be clear about that in the ballot proposal?
It will be. In fact,
Okay.
this tonight is giving me direction to bring it forward at the next meeting,
Okay.
which we'll be able to all discuss again.
Perfect.
And it'll be a resolution, and it'll have potential ballot language. The reason I can't do that now is because I like to vet the language with the AG's office, because they're the ones that ultimately have to look at it too. So I have some language that I've drafted, and I'm working on that to bring it forward to the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Also, as far as, appointees, I admit I was appointed. I was appointed in February and had to run that November. And I did not run as an incumbent because I wasn't an incumbent. I was an appointee. So I don't think that I had an advantage running. But I won that election, and I've won every election ever since 2003. So that had nothing to do with me being appointed, and that's what my thought is on that, nor any of my colleagues that have been appointed since then. So I'm comfortable with this. I think it really is important to give the voters the opportunity to make that selection if it's longer than 2 years. So I am in full support of this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Council, anyone else? Mr. Yanez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the chair to the city clerk. Madam Clerk, can you give us a ballpark idea how much it costs to run an election?
Mrs. Riska?
I would say a good ballpark estimate is 125,000.
125?
Yes.
So even for a special election where we're just voting for one seat, it'd be 125,000?
Yes.
So I will say I'm in agreement with Mr. Smith in regards to the timeline. I agree with this concept. Having somebody, putting somebody on for 2 full years, or just under 2 full years, I think is pushing the envelope, but, and I would rather see it 3 years, but 125,000 is a lot of money. And, okay, I'm going to support the legislation as it is. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Yanez. Mrs. Zarko?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I'm going to support the motion as well. This is when I appreciate the fact that when we're making a change, we leave it up to the residents. What we'll do is we'll listen to what you have to say, and then we'll put that into action. So, and I appreciate the fact that we don't do it just on the years that we have a local election, but we put it on a ballot when we have more people coming to the polls to vote, and more people will have a voice in these changes. So I appreciate that we're doing it this year. So nothing further, and I'm in favor of the changes.
Mr. Majek.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do support this, this change here that we're doing. Anytime we can improve our democracy, we need to do it. It's sacred to our country. And through the chair, I would just say, me being a first-time candidate last year, the clerk's office here was very professional for me, you know, told me what I can and can't do as far as the signatures, how to do it, very professional. And I knew that they were like that, I assume, with all the other candidates running. I'm sure they treated all the people here, the incumbents, like that, but also the challengers also. So just through the chair, thank you to our city clerk for your staff and your professionalism in making our democracy work better. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Majek. Yeah, I'm gonna support it too. I think that this is a good, this is, you know, a good balance. So the way I understand it to work is that if there's more than 2 years left on the term when the elected official resigns, leaves for whatever reason, then there's going to be a special election. It'll be it says no less than 180 days. So I guess the question I have there is like, how's that going to be determined? So let's say somebody resigns in, you know, in January. And then 180 days is, the next would be August. So does it have to be August? Could it be the November? Is this saying that it's at the next election outside of 180 days?
Yes.
Okay. So look, I also appreciate what Mr. Yanez said, that it would be expensive. I do think it's worth it though. And in all likelihood, I mean, depending on the timing, it could be at a time when there's already an election, in which case it wouldn't cost, I mean, it doesn't cost you any more to have one more person or one more race on it, right? So I think this is the right balance. We could go a little bit longer, but the reality is, even with 2 years, what you're really saying is that, so there can't be a special election within 180 days of a regularly scheduled general election for the city council, right? Right. Or even a primary. I guess maybe it's hard for me to quite grasp how that would work. But, so really it's like 18 months. There's only an 18-month period where it's, you know, where you could make an appointment to fill the vacancy. And look, Mr. Smith, the point's well taken. I'm not gonna say that there's no advantage to incumbency, but unlike, you know, judges, we don't get to broadcast on the, you know, no shade at you know, Judgy Wudgy.
Oh, he's gonna look at.
Somehow the judges got to put their, you know, their incumbency on the ballot, and I don't know how they did that, but, you know, and one other thing, Mr. Smith, I mean, I get the point. I think you said that 4 of us were appointed. I was appointed. I also won, you know, my first election too, and we ran against each other in my first election. So I don't think that the incumbency was really the main factor there, but, you know. So I'm comfortable with this. I think it's a good idea. You know, Mr. Radke's been talking about this since this happened, where we went to 4-year terms. So I think it's time to do it, and I'm in support of it. So, all right, anything else, anybody? So we'll vote on this one. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, anybody want to take the second one?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Radke.
Resolve to direct city administration, let me ask a question before I do this to the city attorney. Do we have to put a number in, or A or B, or can we discuss that as part of, does the motion have to have a number in it?
Mr. Koszybski.
If you have a proposed number you want to put in, the recommendation is the 50,000.
Okay.
Because that's the number of the
Fine.
inflation.
Resolve to direct city administration to move forward with the process necessary to place on November 3rd, 2026 election a ballot question to amend section 13.03 and 13.04 of the charter to adjust the amount over which council pre-approval is required for public purchases and improvements to $35,000.
Support.
Option C.
Okay, it's been moved and supported for $35,000 is the motion. Is there any discussion, Mr. Radke?
Yes, please. I take that our framers had some very good ideas about how to run the council. I also take a point that I've made that Mr. Smith echoed, that I think that there's a fine line without any backup or information. I mean, I don't know what it was like in 1968. I was not alive. But now that we have electronics and we have an electronic packet and we're producing all this material, I don't have a problem reviewing my 500 pages. I take it very seriously, and I think all my colleagues take it very seriously. And we do spot inefficiencies from time to time. I can think off the top of my head something to do with investment advisor, a snowplow contract, some other things that we've looked at over time and decided that we're not sure about that. So I think that $35,000 would bridge the gap, would make it easier and more efficient to do some very routine purchases, while at the same time preventing them from buying cars, preventing them, that's our job as oversight. I take that very seriously. And to me, $50,000 or $50,000 to inflation creates a system where, I'll be honest, I'm not looking to have fewer items on my agenda. I'm not looking to not understand how we're spending money and where. I think it's an essential part of my job. So for me, I think $35,000 will make the purchasing office more efficient, while at the same time ensuring that council approves large purchases like vehicles and ensures the city is spending its money in the most wise manner possible. That's why I think, and I guess through the chair to Mr. Koszubski, to put this on the ballot, you need not just a majority, but a supermajority, correct?
Right.
So whatever amount we consider, 5 of us have to agree to, just so we're all aware. So that's all I have at this moment. Maybe I'll speak again, but to me, this bridges the gap between what administration wants and what I think is the most efficient way to do this. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Sarowski?
Thank you, Mayor. So I do want to echo Mr. Radke's concerns. I was very happy to support the 35. I think it's a good compromise, for lack of any other way to say it, that we need to be as judicious with all the money that the residents put us in charge of. And this is one way to still, unfortunately, you cannot buy a new car for less than $50,000 probably, very few, if any. And 35 is a great number for that reason specifically. And then 35 still is a good amount, still a lot of money, still things that we want to make sure that we are making, we go through the budget, even on the consent agenda, we're approving things that we've already budgeted, that we've seen, and that they're less, and it's still, we have to see it, and we have to make sure that that's what we want to spend or pull it off and discuss. So I'm happy with this. I think it's a great compromise. Yeah, back in this, I was alive in 68. I don't remember much of it, but I was there. And I do know that my parents' house, what they first bought was $28,000. And my mother didn't work and my dad did not make 10 grand. So it was a $5,000 discretionary fund, which would be half what my father made a living at, which, that's a lot of money. So I'm happy to keep it 35, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Council, anyone else? Mr. Yanis?
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair, can we ask the purchasing agent a question? Eric? Director? You're not an agent. You're a director. Very good. Sorry about that. Mr. Skirta, thank you.
Okay.
My wife calls herself the purchasing agent at our house.
That she is.
And purchasing director. She says, I'm in purchasing and I travel for work, so.
There you go.
Mr. Skirta. I'm sorry, Mr. Yanis.
Thank you. So, Mr. Skirta, so in the time that you've been in this position, can you give an average of what you spend on a regular, but forget the outliers for a second, just the copious amounts of apparently toilet paper we buy, and paper products, copy paper and all that. Can you give us a ballpark idea of what you spend?
I guess it.
You didn't, okay, sorry. I should have called you earlier in the day.
I have a few numbers, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
So of all of the council agenda items that we took in the fiscal year 25-26 that you guys gave formal approval on, that was $24 million, okay? Of that $24 million, about 84 of those purchases were over $50,000. Okay? And of the, 200 items that we bring on the consent agenda, we're looking at about half. So it would increase our efficiency by quite a bit in the purchasing office. It would reduce a lot of extra work for our department managers and directors to be able to make efficient decisions in the field at the time of need without having to wait for every 2 weeks for our council meetings to ask for formal approval on these items that are less than $50,000, if that helps.
So let's say, for instance, I'm going to give you a for instance here. We raise this to $50,000. Are people just going to go nuts and just start buying stuff?
Absolutely not. No, we have our internal controls. As a matter of fact, anything that gets through a department requisition immediately goes to the department head, then it comes to the purchasing office, then it goes to the budget and finance director, and we make sure that we review all of those requests. We will force quotations. If it's required for our public solicitation, we will publicly solicit those requests for purchase, so that way we have open and fair competitive process every single time before it gets through the final approval and a purchase order is actually created and we can actually do business with that particular company that sells that product.
Okay. So we've had this discussion already, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you, sir. And frankly, I'm not very worried that the city manager is going to go out and spend $50,000 on a car unless he wants to drive a Ford Fiesta. He can buy one. But I think there are enough internal controls. Look at it, it's 2026. $50,000 is a lot of money. I'm not concerned about the $50,000. What I'm concerned about is the CPI. And through the chair, I don't know who can answer this question. Maybe Mr. Mackey can answer it. What would the average CPI be? And if you talk about inflation, Mr. Mackey, can you answer this? You think? You want to try?
You want to?
Maybe Jennifer.
Doesn't even know the question.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Give the question
Okay.
first, you don't know the question.
Okay. Well, it's a finance question, so I need the finance people up here. Thank you, Ms. Varney. I appreciate it.
I would say over the past 50 years, I would, 2 to 3%, is average. Obviously, the last few years have been higher. I think there was 2 years in a row, it was around 7%, but over time, 2 to 3% annual inflation is reasonable.
So if this passed, and we did have those 2 or 3 years of outliers, we could actually bump that figure up considerably, because I think we had like 7% inflation.
Yeah, 2 years in a row, it was like 7%. So if you went with the CPI those years, it would be, 50,000 times 7%.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the answer. So I support the $50,000. I would like to see a cap on the CPI at 3%. I think that's a control that would be valuable in this discussion.
Point of inquiry, Mr. Mayor. To Councilman Yanes.
Yes.
Are you suggesting a different motion? Because the motion on the floor is 35,000. I just want to be clear.
No, thank you.
Yes.
I have not made that motion yet. I'm just having a discussion right now out loud with the group here to make this consideration, because we haven't talked about this, right? We just threw CPI out there and it's not.
The motion on the floor doesn't have CPI. That's why I was asking.
Okay, I think Mr. Yanes is within his rights to discuss, however he chooses to discuss. The motion on the floor is for 35, but if he wants to question and ask about 50,000, that's fine too, Mr. Yanes.
Oh, I take that point. I do not support the 35. I do support the 50. If we can talk about how that is adjusted year to year, should we just go ahead and focus on the 35 now and then talk about the CPI adjustment afterwards? Yes,
No, I think you're completely within your rights. I think Mr. Radke's point of inquiry was fine, just to point out that the motion is for 35, but, I mean, if you favor 50, then you're certainly within your rights
Yeah.
to discuss it that way.
No, and look, I appreciate the $35,000 mark. I'm not quite sure how we get to 35,000, but this is the second time we've had this discussion. We have our professional director giving us testimony as to what it takes to run this city on an efficient basis. I know $50,000 is a lot of money, but these are the times we live in. And the fact of the matter is we buy a lot of stuff and things are very expensive. Again, I don't have a problem with the $50,000. So I'm not going to support the 35, but I do think that we need to put controls on the CPI so we don't have those outlier years and the adjustments go up higher than I think they should. I'm not quite how to propose
You can just put a hard number in there, Henry, and that will solve that.
Well, I mean, look, you could.
But I don't want to put, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate that point, but there's a reason why the CPI is in there, and I agree with that, because costs go up every year with inflation. We have city contracts with our bargaining units, and they go up 1%, 2%, 3% every year. So, we have to make those adjustments, and the purchasing director, almost said agent, sorry. The purchasing director has to make those adjustments. All the department heads, when they figure out their budgets, have to make those adjustments. And so, to have some certainty that they have an amount that they can spend and they know it's going to go up no more than, I like to say 3% a year, I think is fair to them so they can figure out their budget.
Okay. All right, Mr. Koszybski, anything to add?
Just quickly, so there are two options that were being presented to council. One included a CPI index. One was a hard number. The CPI index amendment would be very simple. It would be the United States Department of Labor, Detroit Consumer Price Index, and then you would just cap it at 3% as part of the amendment to the charter.
Okay.
So you can do either or.
Okay.
Here,
So
I guess.
what are we going to vote on first?
Well, we're not going to, the only motion on the floor is to approve $35,000.
Okay.
My suggestion, for whatever it's worth, is we can go around the dais. Everybody can have an opportunity to talk. I'd be more than happy to open it up after that for any amendments, if anybody has any. Okay?
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Taylor. I'm going to agree with Mr. Yanes. Shocked? No, I think that $50,000, I'm looking at tonight's agenda. There's 4 items that are under $50,000 that would not be there. And actually, the 5th item is for $52,000. But when you look, what we've been told tonight is some of these purchases are routine. So one of them is for portable radio batteries for the police department. You're going to order them. Okay, and some of these licensing programs that we have to pay the licensing for AI. I know not everybody wants to, but we do, it's used here. The other thing is, it's for licenses. I mean, if you work in any industry at all, you know that they're licensed to like every computer that you have wherever you're working. So those are like not, those are needed, not just once. So to me, I think $50,000 is probably where there should be, and with all the controls in place, I don't see how there could be misuse. And if we do want to do the cost of living adjustment as a part of the ballot proposal, I can see where that would be helpful, because you don't want to be doing this. I mean, this is long overdue. You can't say something that cost $5,000 back in 1968. It should have been, just like anything else, updated. And I think by adding the cost of living in there and doing this base price of, or $50,000 means that this probably isn't going to come back again for a long, long time. So I'm in favor of the $50,000. Nothing further.
Okay. Council, anyone else?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Schmidt.
I am in favor of the $50,000. However, I'm not sure about the inflation. I would like us, if we're going to do the inflation, I would like it set like at 2%. I worry about this passing a ballot proposal if you're gonna put that, inflation in there. But the $50,000, I think, is a reasonable amount in today's world. Unfortunately, things are just getting more expensive, and it's not like we're giving anyone carte blanche. We're not. We still have our things in place, our securities in place, and council will still be aware. So I'm really not sure about putting the inflation in there. I think cap it at $50,000, and I'd be more comfortable with that. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the 50,000 also as well.
Okay. Mr. Myjack's comfortable with 50,000. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have a huge issue with either. Okay, I really don't. I think that certainly a change needs to be made, and we've been talking about this for, it seems like a long, long time. This has come back in many different forms. Not this particular ballot question, but we've talked about this extensively over the years. Look, from what I'm hearing, we have two council members who would support 35. We have 4 that would support 50 in some form with a inflationary index or not. I think probably so I'm comfortable with $50,000. I'd be comfortable with $35,000. Honestly, my biggest issue with $50,000 isn't so much that the additional spending power that the city administration would have, or any concerns about abuse of that, but just whether it has the ability to pass.
Won't pass.
You know, so that's my biggest concern with going to 50. But it seems like we're either going to get 50 or nothing. So look, I would support.
If 3 of us say no, it's not going to go on the ballot.
I know, but right now I'm only seeing 2. So if I voted for 50, that would make 5 votes for 50. If I vote for 35, that makes 3 votes for 35, 4 votes for 50, and nothing gets done. So look, I'm leaning towards 50 just because I do think we should give the voters the opportunity to address this. But again, I have some concerns of the electability of that proposal. So let me, I guess at this point, open it up to a second round of discussion and any possible amendments to the motion on the floor.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Radke.
Just briefly, I personally don't believe 50,000 in any form will pass. I think in a time when people are very concerned about government not paying attention to them and not doing what it's supposed to be doing, that this will look like we are trying to slip things under the rug. The 35,000 that I proposed would not have changed any of the things that Mrs. Ziarko said on the agenda. 2 of them would be off and the rest would be on. And I'll be frank, do we want to go into this election divided or in support? I will actively campaign against the $50,000 cap. I will speak on it wherever I go. I think it's a dumb move. I think pardon me, I don't think my colleagues are dumb. I think that it's just an easily defeatable thing because it's going to look like we are trying to give them something, the term length amendment, to take something away. I think it endangers actually both proposals. And I have fear of that. So to me, 35,000 is a healthy medium between what administration has asked for and our job. Right now, 50,000 is the purchasing limit for when he has to go to bid. He can still do that. But items over 35,000 would come to council for approval. I'm not really worried about $17,000 licenses, but I am worried about vehicles. And I'm worried about a CPI adjustment, which, just like the Headley Amendment, will continue to raise this cap higher and higher. There's no floor. If inflation goes negative, which it hardly ever does, but say we have stagflation, there's nothing here that would reduce that. It'd be like Headley. Everything would crater and we'd still have this enormous purchasing power. That's why a CPI adjustment is wrong, in my opinion. But I'm trying to come to a medium because I personally believe that 35,000 would pass. The residents would understand that. That's a number that makes sense to them. If we say 50,000, I think not only does this not pass, I think that the other one goes down too. People are going to vote yes on both or no on both. They're not going to split their vote. So that's why I have advocated the way I have. Look, I clearly don't have the votes up here for 35,000, but I would think that would be a compromise where we could pass both. That's why I advocated for it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ray.
Oh, one more thing, I'm sorry, pardon me. And I would remind Councilman Majek especially that he was very concerned about his residents getting cost increases or adding. And what could add more than money that's not overseen by us? I don't know if you've looked through, I'm sure you have. They present all the bills that we pay that are under the cap as one long list. I scroll through it and I take a look at it, but there's no information provided, and oftentimes the name of the expenditure makes no sense. So you have to actually call City Hall and get information on that expenditure. So I would just think I'm trying to do what my job is, which is to protect the people's money. I take that very seriously. And that's why I asked for the middle ground between the two. Otherwise, I'm fine with leaving it the way it is. I don't think that I'm harmed in the way it is right now. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Anyone else?
Go ahead.
Mrs. Zarko.
Okay, well, I guess if we're looking for a compromise, we could always come up with like 40,000 and maybe everybody, and then take the CPI out and do that. But to me, yeah, I'm still in favor of the 50,000, and if we take the CPI out, I'm good with that. But I think the number should be 50,000. But the other thing is, we're letting the people decide what they want to do. That's one. It's our job to tell them what they're voting for. That's our job. If we want to see this passed, it's our job to say, the reality is this is why we're doing this. It isn't for somebody just to go in and say, oh, what are they asking for? And I'll just vote one way or yes or no, or I always vote no. And this isn't costing the residents any more money. And I think that's what needs to be stressed. This is no additional cost to the resident. There is no additional cost to the resident here. This is just a way of doing business. And if we can do it more efficiently, I think that's what we need to tell everybody, and that's why we're doing it. And that's why I'm in favor of the 50,000. You can talk whatever you want to about the CPIs, but 50,000 is where I want to be.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Guinness.
Yeah. Through the chair to the city manager, where did this $50,000 number come from?
Mr. Vanderbilt.
Councilman Yanez, it came from the inflationary index adjusted. It actually equates to $47,444.40. So that may be a little confusing on the ballot, and by this time next year, inflation will have it right up around $50,000. What's, I think, important to note about the inflationary adjustment is it's tangible, it's quantifiable, it's scientific. It's not an arbitrary number, whether it's 40,000, 35,000, or 30. It's a quantifiable, justifiable number that you can back up with science, mathematical science. So any other number than that, I think, could possibly cause even more confusion. So that's why we chose that number. You could just make it 47,000. That will be dated by the time of the election.
So I'll just say this. There's a reason why we have a $50,000 amount being proposed. I understand Councilman Radke's idea for 35,000 or even 40,000. It appears to be more politically viable. But I'm not here to play political chicken. I mean, it's an either or. If we're going to put it on the ballot, I'm assuming the city's going to support the ballot initiative with information. And the worst possible scenario is it fails and we continue to do business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, we're here. City council doesn't run the business, but the people sitting out in the audience here do. And they need to be able to run this business as efficiently as possible. It's the best way to do it for the city. It's best for the taxpayers. Mr. Radke may be right that 50,000 just isn't digestible to the average voter. I agree that there probably should be an inflation adjustment, but I'm okay if we don't have the inflation adjustment. But I say that we go with 50,000, and if the voters vote it down, then we just keep doing what we're doing. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yanis. Anyone else on the second round? So look, I appreciate what Mr. Radke's saying. I really do. I mean, I shared those concerns that it may have a difficult time passing. I disagree, though, that would impact. I have a hard time believing that there's a voter out there that would say, how dare those council members say that they're going to raise the threshold up to $50,000. That's not good. That's not going to be beneficial to us. And by the way, I'll let them appoint somebody to a vacant position, even if there's 4 years left on the term. I don't think the voters, I think the voters are pretty well informed when they go and vote on these ballot proposals. They have been. We've done a number of these over the years. I'm not as worried about that.
Do it for a living.
But I sense that there's a group coalescing around $50,000 with no inflationary factor. So I think we can either, I would say somebody should make that motion.
So moved. Support.
So we have-
Motion to
so-
amend.
Vote on the other one or take the other motion?
So what I'm asking, I guess, is to Mr. Koszybski, can we amend this can we do a motion to amend this motion and then just make it $50,000? Or is that
Yeah, we could.
procedurally out of order?
No, we can have a motion.
Then would we have two votes? Because then.
Yes.
It goes up the chain. So it starts out with a
Yeah,
motion
got
to amend. If approved, then it's a motion
All
on
right.
the main motion.
So I would entertain a motion to amend the motion on the floor to a cap of $50,000 with no inflationary adjustment.
So moved. Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion on that? If not, Ms. Riska, can we please have a roll call vote
On the amendment.
on the amendment?
Mr. Radke?
No.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Sarowski?
No.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Yanis?
Yes.
Mrs. Yarko?
Yes.
Mr. Myjack?
Yes.
Okay, that motion to amend passes by a vote of 5-2. Now, the main motion is to direct city administration to move forward, and this would be a $50,000 cap with no inflation. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, Ms. Riska, can we please have a roll call vote?
Mrs. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Sarowski?
No.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Yanis?
Yes.
Mrs. Yarko?
Yes.
Mr. Myjack?
Yes.
Mr. Radke?
No.
Okay, motion passes 5-2. Thank you, council, for the discussion.
Forward to campaigning against
We'll move on to the next item, which is to consider appointments to the City of Sterling Heights boards and commissions. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none. We have a number of boards and commissions today. We'll start with the Board of Ordinance Appeals 1. This is an alternate position, City Council to a term ending June 30th, 2029. Is there anyone who'd like to make that appointment?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
I've resolved to appoint Ben Ancona to the Board of Ordinance Appeals 1, alternate to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up, and just should have prefaced this before, these are the two-step process. This is step 2 of the two-step process. The next up is the Board of Ordinance Appeals 2. There are 2 alternate positions seeking appointment. Council, anyone that'd like to make that motion?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolved to appoint Justin Smith to the Board of Ordinance Appeals 2 to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Ms. Schmidt, do you want to take the other one?
Sure. Resolved to appoint Julie Hoff Windhorst and Lillian Jacobs to the Board of Ordinance Appeals 2 alternate to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor?
Next up is the Board of Review, two appointments to be made here. Mr. Myjack.
Yeah, resolved to appoint John Fenn and Raymond Nadolski to the Board of Review to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Pension Board, Police and Fire. Again, two appointments.
Mayor Taylor.
Terms ending June 30th, 2030. Council,
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolved to appoint John Lamorato and Robert Malesic.
Melzak.
Melzick, thank you, to the Pension Board, Police and Fire, to a term ending June 30, 2030, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No.
No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Zoning Board of Appeals. There are two separate resolutions suggested here, Council. Who would like to make those?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolved to appoint Ben Ancona and Brian Dilworth to the Zoning Board of Appeals alternate to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolved to appoint Jafar Chihab and Devin Koski to the Zoning Board of Appeals to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we'll move on to those requiring just a one-step process. First up, we'll go through a number of mayoral appointments first. First up is the Economic Development Corporation Brownfield Authority. This is a mayoral appointment, terms ending June 30th, 2032, and one open position to a term ending June 30th, 2030. I would recommend appointment of, let me find it, Laurel Johnson and Cynthia Orchard to the terms ending June 30th, 2032. Is there a council member who will make that motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
on the recommendation of the mayor, resolved to appoint Laurel Johnson and Cynthia Orchard to the Economic Development Corporation Brownfield Authority to a term ending June 30th, 2032, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03, taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. As to the open seat, I would entertain a motion to postpone this item to the August 5th, 2026 city council meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. With no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Elected Officials Compensation Commission. This is a mayoral appointment to a term ending June 30th, 2033. My recommendation is Pashka Weekai, who has been serving on the Elected Officials Compensation Commission. Is there somebody who would make that motion?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
On the recommendation of Mayor Taylor, resolved to appoint Pashko Weekai to the Elected Officials Compensation Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2033, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No.
No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the Ethnic Community Committee, 2 members seeking reappointment that I'd like to see reappointed, and there is 1 open seat. And for the open seat, I'm recommending appointment of Sharoon Atray. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. But these can all be made under one motion or separately, but my recommendation is for Mohammed Alamari, Willie DeChavez, and Sharoon Atray.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Majak.
resolve to appoint Mohammed Al-Amari, William D. Chavez, and Sharoon Atray to the Ethnic Community Committee to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Local Development Finance Authority. This is a mayoral appointment to a term ending June 30th, 2030. My recommendation is Ted Chudzik. Is there somebody who would be willing to make that motion?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
On the recommendation of Mayor Taylor, resolved to appoint Ted Chudzik to the Local Development Finance Authority to a term ending June 30th, 2030, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Arts Commission. This is a council appointment. There are 2 positions to terms ending June 30th, 2030. Is there anyone who'd like to make appointments?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to appoint Wendy Popko to the Arts Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2030, so that the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03, taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do have another open seat on the Arts Commission. Is there anyone who'd like to make that appointment or a motion to postpone?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Move to postpone appointment to our next available city council meeting.
All right, it's been moved and supported to postpone to the June 16th city council meeting with no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Beautification Commission. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats and 3 members seeking reappointment.
Mayor Taylor.
You have,
Looking though, so,
Oh, you
we have,
No, go ahead.
we do have, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have 5.
I've got
We have 4 to terms ending June 30th, 2029, and 1 open seat to a term ending June 30th, 2028. As councilors, anyone that'd like to make these appointments?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Okay. Resolved to appoint Ariel Bilardi, Susan Trombley, Danielle Henry, and Diane Lund to the Beautification Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No, Mayor.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. That leaves 1 open position to a term ending June 30, 2028. Is there anyone who'd like to make an appointment?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolved to appoint Matthew Smith to the Beautification Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2028, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is the Board of Code Appeals. There's 1 member seeking reappointment and 1 open alternate position. Council, is there anyone who'd like to make an appointment?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to appoint Thaddeus Stanek Jr. to the Board of Code Appeals to a term ending June 30th, 2031, so that the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Briefly, I just
Mr. Radke.
appreciate a man who uses the junior in his name like I do. So,
Well,
all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Shots fired.
As from to another junior.
To another junior who doesn't use it. Sorry, Dad. Council, any further discussion? No. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have an open seat, the open alternate.
Mr. Mayor.
Position, Mr. Yanez.
Yeah, resolve to appoint Sean Allen to the Board of Code Appeals alternate to a term ending June 30th, 2027, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter, Section 4.03, and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Nope.
Council?
I think it's a good choice.
I think you'd be good for that.
Yeah, I really think you'd be good for that. Good choice.
Just ask him. Just ask him. He'll tell you.
He'll be running that board soon. Council, with no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, next up is the Citizens Advisory Committee, CDBG. We have all 7, I think, are always up. So, council, is there anyone that would like to make that appointment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Majak?
Resolve to appoint Diana Bledsoe, Cosetta Els-Henny, Juliana Hardiman, Nikita Jones, Benjamin Orjada, Jean Shabath Lewis, and Sean Taylor to the Citizens Advisory Committee, CDBG, to a term ending June 30th, 2027, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Community Alliance, 2 members seeking reappointment and 1 open seat. Council, is there an appointment?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to appoint Connie Majewski, Hunter Neroni, and Dawn Golda to the Community Alliance to terms ending June 30th, 2029, so that the appointees meet the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Historical Commission, 1 member seeking reappointment to a term ending June 30, 2029. Council,
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you. Resolve to appoint Cynthia Appleton to the Historical Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No, thank you.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Library Board of Trustees, 2 members seeking reappointment. Council,
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Zarco.
Resolve to appoint Christopher Frezza and Wendy Popko to the Library Board of Trustees to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Solid Waste Management Committee, Solid Waste Management Commission. 1 member seeking reappointment. Council,
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Schmidt.
resolve to appoint Lillian Jacobs to the Solid Waste Management Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Sustainability Commission, 3 members seeking reappointment to terms ending June 30th, 2029. Is there anyone who'd like to make this motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to appoint Jennifer Fleming and Jonathan Matthews to the Sustainability Commission to terms ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03, taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, council, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. That leaves 1 additional appointment to be made to the Sustainability Commission. Councilors, anyone that would like to make another appointment?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Schmidt.
resolve to appoint Mark Graff to the Sustainability Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2029, subject to the appointing meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
as to Mr. Graff, who is a very passionate environmentalist, I just believe that our appointee should reflect the policy made at the council table. And Mr. Graff has put up websites and taken action to undermine the policy set forth by this council. I don't think it's appropriate to reappoint him. I appreciate his passion, and I actually like him as a person. But if you're an appointee of this council, you should carry out the policy of the council. And to essentially use his position to undermine our policy, I think is inappropriate, and I will not be supporting him. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else? Ms. Riska, can we please have a roll call vote?
Certainly. Mrs. Sarowski?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Yanez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yarko?
Yes.
Mr. Myjack?
Yes.
Mr. Radke?
No.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Yes.
All right, motion carries 6-1. Next up is the Youth Advisory Board. There are a number of openings, several, looks like 5 or 6. 5 members seeking reappointment. The balance are open.
6 reappointments.
Sorry, 6 seeking reappointment. The remaining 7 are open. Is there anyone who'd like to make appointments to the Youth Advisory Board?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Yanez.
thank you. Resolve to appoint Bryson B., Jahan Badi, Isabella Borromeo. I don't know where the accent is, so we'll just say Borromeo. Lauren Sanchez, Sarah Thomas, Aubrey Burns, to the Youth Advisory Board to a term ending June 30th, 2027, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter Section 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. That leaves, I believe, 6 additional seats.
1, 2,
7?
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 additional seats. Yeah, we have 13, we've appointed 6. Is there anyone who'd like to make additional appointments?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
resolve to appoint Ishwarya Abraham, Adam Bayati, Reed Riska, Naya Shabin, Jahaya Varghese, and Eliana Varugzezi, and pardon me for the mispronunciation of the names, to the Youth Advisory Board to terms ending June 30th, 2027, subject to the appointees meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subsection 4.03, taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Here's what I'm gonna say. You know, we talked about it, we heard a lot about it during the, what do you call it? I'm sorry. The oral history of Sterling Heights. A lot of us talked about diversity, and sometimes you can go in areas of Sterling Heights where it's not that diverse. But if you go into the schools, you cannot deny that the schools are very diverse, and we have an amazing array of different ethnicities, different countries of origin, which just make this city incredibly diverse and incredibly strong. And I'm happy to see it in our youth. There's a lot of diversity in our Youth Advisory Board, and I think it's a great benefit to our city, and so I just wanted to point that out. So, council, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one left. Does anybody have an appointment today? No? Okay. Postpone. You know, what I would say is probably, we shouldn't go to the next meeting.
This is right here,
September.
July 21st.
Yes,
When school starts again.
well, I think this alternate was for any of them. Here's what my recommendation would be, so I postponed one of mine to August 5th. You know, that'll give a couple months for, city administration to maybe identify somebody. And if we can't then we can go into the school year, and it should be much easier then. So I'd entertain a motion to postpone the final opening of the Youth Advisory Board to the August 5th, 2026 City Council meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, that completes that, and we'll move on to, we got, I'm sorry. Communications from citizens. All right. So, it's past 9:30, so we're gonna go on to communications from citizens. So this is the opportunity to speak on any item not on tonight's agenda. I'll start over on my right with Mr. Manny. our grand marshal of our parade.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, I know, Manny Gonzalez.
Okay.
I called him Mr. Manny. I don't know. I like the name Manny. So,
Manuel.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager, I'm speaking tonight as myself, not as a spokesman for the senior pickleball players. And this is my last meeting on this. I'm here to talk about the pickleball and the new complex. Consider this a tough love, one that you need to hear speech. First, congratulations to the city. The city has achieved what it's wanted to do, to build a complex to rival Bass and Metro. This was an unspoken goal all along, and we knew it as seniors. You wanted a trophy building, you got it. You wanted a Crystal Palace, you got it. You want a bougie little legacy, you got it. And of course, you can't tarnish that heavenly vision with something as simple as senior playing time at the very facility that we are helping to pay for. Let me speak to my disappointment. There will be no dedicated senior pickleball time at the new complex, and we knew it. We knew it from day one when we sat there in September across the street. But we had to try, So, just like in poker, the city has a tell, and that tell is when the city opened up its mouth. The city changed the name from open play to drop-in play and expected us to be fooled by this. Well, we're not. We may be seniors, but our faculties are intact. So we don't sit in front of the TV watching game shows all day long. We believe we're vital citizens to this community, but clearly we were mistaken. In a recent Century article, the Sidley proudly stated, "You don't have to be a superstar to participate. Just don't be a senior." We wanted socialization, camaraderie, hospitality, but don't be a senior. The city strived to meet everyone's demands, but don't be a senior. And the city hopes everyone will be satisfied. Hopes, well, we know that hope can be a dangerous thing. We are expected to believe that with an upper staff making over $500,000 in combined salary, you cannot simply transfer hours from one building to another. No, because that would interfere with the big shiny picture the city wants to present to the outside world. You wanted to one-up Bass and Metro, and you got it. You wanted a state-of-the-art, bougie, athletic hub, eyewash for the public. And you cannot let the public see senior playing time on the schedule. Bass and Metro don't have it, so why should the city have it? After all, it's only taxpayer funded. My compliments to whoever wrote the millage statement. We drank the Kool-Aid on that one. Thank you for the support we received at the Park and Rec meeting held on May 14th, a meeting that we were given 2 days' notice for. Which, by the way, was a great tactic to keep the attendance down. I emailed everyone here of the meeting as a just in case if you did not know about it. But no one showed up. I received one email reply, but that was more than I expected. The city got what it's wanted, so why attend? So here's the reality. The seniors will play at the complex because we're paying for it. We will handle our own schedule ourselves. We will handle our own socialization ourselves. We will handle our own camaraderie ourselves because we are strong and resourceful people. We have not achieved everything we have in our lifetime by letting obstacles like City Hall stand in our way. We will not let this slap in the face hold us down. We will use our strength where it matters most, with our vote. Enjoy your day in front of the cameras, the reporters, and the media, and the pats on the back when you cut the ribbon, but the senior citizens of Sterling Heights will know the true cost. I love this city very much. We are in our forever home, but I am ashamed. So you made it clear that seniors do not matter. And the saddest part that some of you up there may be seniors. I don't know.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else under communications from citizens? Mr. Norgrove?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I think you remember a little bit about me, and A week ago Monday, something happened at the city, Memorial Day celebration. I want to thank the council members here. I want to thank the first responders for kind of getting me out of some serious trouble. I will tell you, it was a 5-day hospital stay, not just a 1-day. Like I was telling a couple of the other council people, usually when you have a baby, they kick you out after 1 day. Well, they kept me in for 5. Again, I know Steve Ballon was there, and I literally got picked up out of my seat and put into an ambulance. Again, I want to thank the city. Here's Ray, my buddy. This is Steve. We're all members of the same post. But I hope you'll forgive me for what happened, but it was a medical event. Again, first responders were great. Everybody around me was great. I wish I could have got up here a little earlier when you're talking about budget and finance, but when you take a ride in one of our ambulances to the hospital, we need new rear shocks. It's a really bumpy ride, and you feel every bump in the road. But with that being said, I do want to thank all of you. I still love Sterling Heights, and listening to everything today just reiterated what this city is about. I might not live here anymore, but my parents still do, and a lot of my friends. And this city is family, like was said before. So I want to thank each and every one of you, the first responders. I want to thank everybody that at least got to see the parade. Thank you for coming out. And with that being said, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Norgrove. Good to see you here today. You look no worse for wear. You look like you're doing well. Mr. Smith.
Well, I've still got a WOW television that allows me to watch Sterling Heights TV without any special provisions. And turned on the other day, it happened to be a ZBA meeting, and it was a ZBA meeting like all others. A developer someplace up on 19 Mile had bought some property, and instead of putting in single-family residential, he was putting in condominiums. And neighbors were in there, and they didn't like it for a lot of reasons. But it's really the usual story we've seen every time. He had a huge stack of variances, so he had made the places smaller and less setback and less backyard and less front yard and less everything, so he could squeeze in more units and make more money. And as the discussion continued, they were asking him about the condominium company and how the condominium was going to run. And essentially, the developer pretty much truthfully said, I'm going to sell the units and leave town. And if the owners want to start up an HOA, then good for them. Well, I listened to this, and he says, well, that's a very honest man. He's explained that he's used the device of calling it a condo to get a stack of variances to sell basically substandard single-family homes that are conized, what, condo in name only, conies? So instead of condos, they're conies, or condo in name only. He calls it a condominium to get the money. Once he's gotten the money, there's no management company, and it's just a small single-family homes. So they'll be in here to get their final approval from council, and I just want to give you a heads up on that. The other thing, I've been a Sterling Heights property owner for almost 50 years, and I bought my original house for $57,000. And if it was 10-to-1 inflation, that house would be worth $570,000 now. And even at the peak of the housing bubble, it only hit 200. And when I sold it, I ended up taking 120 for it. So I really only doubled my money in 30 years. So with all the different measures of inflation that there are in the world, the most relevant measure of inflation in Sterling Heights is Sterling Heights' assessed valuation of houses. Look at 50 years ago at the assessed valuation, what it is now. It's not 10-to-1, it's more like 6.5 or 7 to 1, which is closer to Mr. Radke's number. And I don't like to be close to Mr. Radke in any way at all.
I appreciate the support, Paul.
But his number is a more supportable number. And if you're trying to sell a package, let's get some Sterling Heights assessing datas, because all of the costs of cars and this and that really doesn't mean anything. What matters is Sterling Heights assessed valuation, because that's the true measure of how much money Sterling Heights has to spend. So maybe if you want to sell this package, you ought to get this out. Maybe 50 grand is reasonable if you can prove 10 to 1. But you can't prove 10 to 1 based on my properties. Like 6.5 to 1 maybe, but not 10. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else under communications? Yes, sir.
I love when Paul agrees with me. Dennis Shaner, 44746 Moraine Drive. I believe you all got my email last night.
Talking to the microphone so we can hear you.
I believe you got my email last night. I'm going to try to get through this first. So there is a dangerous dog next door to me. This has been going on since December 3rd. It has bitten a medical person, and I have a 3-year-old grandson who I let out in the yard play, not unattended any longer. This dog is dangerous, very dangerous. And again, it's been going on since December. It's my understanding that it has gone to Court of Appeals. It has been it has been gone to court, and every time he appeals. When he appeals, I guess the dog is allowed to stay there. I don't know what else to do, folks. I mean, I gotta, build a wall around my yard so this dog does not get into my yard. The gentleman next door has 3 dogs, one that is very dangerous, and animal control has given this dog, I don't know, some kind of heading, I forget what kind of pit bull it is, but it bites, disengages, and bites again until whatever it's got quits moving. And just imagine, you all have young kids or grandchildren, imagine that kid in the backyard. This dog will get a hold of that and treat it like a rag doll. And this dog has to go away. So I know the police department, animal control, city attorney, I believe, knows what's going on and doesn't understand. We all can't understand why this dog is still there. The judge is allowing this dog, and I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself because I'm getting upset again. But this dog is allowed to stay there. So if someone can explain to me why or how this dog is still allowed to be there until this dog is euthanized, if this dog ever gets euthanized, I'm here to hear it. So recently, over this past weekend, the owner dug a trench around his 6-foot picket fence, which, by the way, that dog is bitten off about that much at the bottom of this fence. And now the owner dug a trench around there. Today, he had 2 pallets of bagged concrete delivered and placed it around the perimeter of his yard. I don't know what he thinks is going to happen with that, because if you just spread that concrete out and add water, it's not going to do anything. So that dog is going to get underneath my fence again. And, when the police came out, I read the report, said hole in the fence. That dog didn't get through a hole in my fence. That dog dug underneath my fence, which is a chain link fence. And there's about 2 inches between the chain link fence and the wood fence. So, Mr. Attorney, can you explain how this judge allows this? Or what sort of safety precautions do I have to put up? Anybody?
Yeah, so during this portion of the meeting, we don't generally engage in question and answer back and forth. There is a portion for the council to respond after. Here's what I will tell you. We're aware of the situation. As you've been updated today, the animal control officers were informed recently while the judge issued a stay of the euthanization order by I think it was the Ordinance Board of Appeals. We can't control what a circuit court judge does. The circuit court judge issued the stay. We have to abide by that. A court's order has the effect of law. However, the city has filed a motion to relieve the stay or lift the stay. And I believe it is to force the owner to remove the dog from the city while the appeal is pending. That hearing is set for June 8th. I encourage you to go to the hearing if you can go. You were provided an update. The judge will certainly, as the city attorney, offered to help you with drafting an affidavit to present as part of the motion. And I can't predict what a judge does, although I do all the time. I would say you got a pretty good chance of showing the judge here that this dog needs to be removed from the city. So I'd encourage you to go to the hearing on June 8th. It's only 6 days away. I know that's seems like a long time, but in the legal world, that's a relatively short hearing that you've got coming up. And like I said, I just encourage you to go and possibly even retain counsel to help you explain to the judge why this is so important.
With all due respect, this is going on for 6 months, and you're asking me for another 6 days. And this isn't going to do anything because it's being appealed. And yes, you're right. The judge ordered that dog to be removed. However, it's my understanding that the police department has gone to or contacted 3 other people to locate this dog, and it's never there. That dog is there.
Again, if the decision were up to us, I think we would all agree to do something right now. We can't. If we can't go in there and remove the dog and violate the court's order. So the court is going to hear this on, I believe, Monday, June 8th. And like I said, I encourage you to be there and provide this testimony if the judge will hear it. I think it's compelling, and I'm in the courts every day. The judge is going to be sympathetic to this, and I think you'll have a very fair shot at getting the relief you're asking for.
Well, we'll see, because I relate this to a murder suspect, and if they can't find him, they just, okay, let's wait, they'll appeal again. And let's, if this guy's not at this address, not at this one, it was supposed to be up in Lake Orion, supposed to be downriver. So okay.
Best of luck, sir. And like I said, I encourage you to talk with Mr. Koszubski. We sent you an email today. Follow up with them, and we'll do anything we can to help. Okay? Anyone else under, yes, ma'am?
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Koszubski, and members of City Council. My name is Elizabeth Capolo, and I'm a member of the Sterling Heights Drug-Free Coalition, but tonight I'm here with my Care of Southeastern Michigan cap on. Care of Southeastern Michigan is a substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery nonprofit in Macomb County. And on June 26th, we are hosting our 2nd annual Recovery Con and Film Festival. This event is used to celebrate recovery, give opportunities to learn more about substance use disorder, substance use prevention, and other related topics. This year, we will have a youth panel and youth presentations, which we are inviting our local elected officials to, which is why I'm here, to invite all of you. The youth presentations will also have a Q&A portion for our elected officials to really hear about what is important to our young folks in Macomb County and engage in really meaningful dialogue with them. So I do have flyers if I'm allowed to pass those over.
You give them to our clerk and she'll get them to us.
And that is all I have, so thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else under communications? If not, I'll close that portion. Council, okay, we're going on to the next item, which was to consider nominations to the Planning Commission. Council, I appreciate the postponement on this. There are 3 positions to terms ending June 30th, 2029. I would ask that the council appoint Nathan Inks, Edward Kopp, and Nicole McGill.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is that enough, Mr. Koszubski?
Do I have to list them all?
Yeah.
I'm
going to ask for division of the question, too.
Okay.
Can I have Ms. Sarowski, would you mind making the appointments of Mr. Inks and Ms. McGill?
I would be happy to, based on recommendation of the mayor, Resolved to nominate Nathan Inks and Nicole McGill for consideration as appointees to the Planning Commission at the June 16th, 2026 regular city council meeting.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
No, thank you.
No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would appreciate a council member making the appointment of Edward Kopp to the Planning Commission. Or nomination, sorry, nomination. All right, hearing
Mayor
no.
Taylor.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolve to nominate Edward Kopp for consideration as an appointee to the Planning Commission at the June 16th, 2026 regular city council meeting.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Radke.
I appreciate Mr. Kopp's service to the city. It's come to my attention that over the last 2 years, he's missed about half of all the meetings of the Planning Commission. This has resulted in matters being held over, postponed, add to new dates. You know, every meeting a developer or anyone else has to wait is time consuming, it's money consuming. We need to have commissioners who can do the job. I like Ed personally. This is not a knock against his work, but I believe that he does not have the ability to serve right now, so I will not be supporting him to reappointment. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, council. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carries 5-2. Thank you, council. Next up is item O from the consent agenda. And this is to consider the adoption of a resolution opposing Michigan House Bills 5872, 5873, 5874, 5875, 5876, 5877, 5878, and 5879 due to their potential negative impact on local government revenue, financial planning, and administrative operations. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? Mr. Smith?
Well, best I can see, this is a package of House bills meant to alleviate the overtaxation of Michigan taxpayers and citizens, make this a better place to live and have people not leave Michigan because of overtaxation. It looks like a good package of bills, and I don't really believe it's city council's place to interfere or try to tell state government what to do. They're not going to listen anyway, and I guess by passing this resolution, you'll just show your weakness by telling them to do a thing that they can't do. But, you know, it's election year, and it's a Republican House, and I'm on their side, and I want to see these tax cuts. But we all know that Gretchen Whitmer's going to veto every one of them, and none of this is really going to happen anyway. So if you pass this resolution or not, isn't going to change the way they vote. They're all going to pass. Whitmer's going to veto the whole package, thereby playing to her base of people that want big taxes and big spending, and the Republicans have played to their base of passing a package of tax cuts. So I guess since this isn't worth talking about, I won't talk about it anymore either, and I hope you don't, I say I don't really care if you pass this or not, because you're probably going to pass it, but it's not going to change this. They'll all pass the House. Whitmer vetoes them all, and everybody's put on an election show.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else on this item? If not, council, we need a motion. Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Resolve to adopt the resolution opposing Michigan House Bills 5872 through 5879 inclusive.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Zarko?
Yes. This topic was brought up last week when we were on Mackinac Island a couple of times talking to legislators. And yes, this is bound party lines. However, it doesn't matter what lines it's down. what happens is with this loss in revenue, which is going to happen, is eventually going to be on the taxpayers in the city. It affects taxpayers throughout the state. So it sounds like, I mean, if you can go through the resolution, there's no guarantee replacement for it. We can use the personal property tax, rescinding the personal property tax as an example of, we were promised to be made whole on it, but actually we were only 80% whole, or 80% of it was paid back to us. Those are just examples of, I think, some of the risks that's involved here, because it also takes away local control once again. And although, you know, I understand what Mr. Smith is saying is, but we do have a right to tell those legislators what we want and what makes us a better city and why we can handle, you know, our own finances, as long as they keep taking away our money from us. So I'm in agreement with this. I think that between with losing money on our tax base, it'll trickle down even to our employees. Because once you start losing, like, the example is $5 million a year, we're going to come up with, you know, have to negotiate labor contracts in the future, and maybe, you know, our employees aren't going to get as much as they've had in the past because of these reductions. So I think we have to be proactive on this. We always, you know, we never give up. We don't know what the opposition's going to be, or I don't think this is just going to be something that the governor goes and says, oh, I'm going to veto this. Because you never know, but I'm certainly in favor of passing this on to all of our legislators, the governor's office, the Michigan Municipal League, and the Michigan Department of Treasury. I mean, to find, you know, and let them know what's going to happen here in Sterling Heights as along the entire state. I know that I talked to Mr. Radke earlier, and we have our subcommittee meetings yesterday, and his was on infrastructure and transportation. Mine was on municipal services. In both of those subcommittee meetings, these bills came up, and they were, the people in the room there were in opposition as well. So I think we're doing the right thing, and I hope my colleagues agree with me. So I think that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Ms. Sarko.
Oh, another thing, it's not going to help the housing crisis. That's supposed to be the reason why some of this is being done, is so you can sell more homes. It is not going to solve the housing crisis. No. So that's it.
Mr. Majek.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, through the chair, Councilwoman Jarko, appreciate the work you've done on this. You have a lot of knowledge on this with MML, so I just want to say up front, thank you for that. What I'd like to just talk about, just briefly, a little about, pertains to the loss of personal property taxes. So I was aware of this about 10 years ago when I was a county commissioner, former county commissioner, and in county government, a big threat to us was obviously potential losses of revenue sharing, which exists everywhere in local government, as it is in city government as well. And the proposal to eliminate personal property taxes came up, I think, about 10 years ago, from what I recall. Our county assessors, our finance department of the county, our county lobbyists talked about it as well. One of the questions I raised was, are we going to be made whole to this proposal? You know, here we are 10 years later with my thoughts back then maybe coming true. I hope it's not true, you know. Now, on one hand, as personal experience, I am a small business owner in Sterling Heights. I think at that time, 10 years ago, from my recollection, I think I was paying $2,000 to $3,000 in personal private taxes from my business. So as a business owner, I was certainly happy to not pay that, but wearing the hat of a public official, I was very wary and concerned with promises from the state government that we could or could not be made whole. And here we are today. So the problem about this that bothers me the most, though, is it's basically a shift in taxes, right? So if this were to go through, and I don't think it's going to go through, because it is a partisan bill, and the dynamics of Lansing, and if I was a gambling man, I'd say this would not pass. But if it does pass, a loss of $5 million, reduced stability of revenue, our revenue structure, erosion of the local tax base, And that would result either, as I understand, a loss of, I talked with Mr. Vanderpool about this briefly, something like 40 to 50 positions, potential loss of services. And in order to keep that in balance, you would have to raise taxes in the city to offset that, right? My point is, in telling you all this, it's a tax shift, and that's from businesses to people. So through the chair to Mr. Smith out in the audience, I appreciate your comments, but you talked about tax cuts, but that would be tax increases for residents if, one way of looking at this, you know? And it's just very unfair to residents in the city that work hard, that play by the rules, and the Lansing world, or the world from another, from state government isn't working to the benefit of working people in Sterling Heights and Macomb County. So I will be supporting this resolution opposing these bills. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Myjack. Council, anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Radke.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with Councilwoman Ziarko. This is a tax shift, but worse than that, if it goes into effect, it creates a structural budget deficit in every city in the state. Essentially, it freezes your taxes forevermore. The property taxes will not increase ever again, essentially. And with that, because of that, every year the city is getting less and less revenue. And they say, without any funding mechanism, that we will somehow make you whole. But oh wait, buried in the bill is, if we can't make you whole, we'll prorate it. So what's that, what happens? If this passes, and it's a Republican messaging, but let's be clear what's going on here. They couldn't get Axe My Tax on the ballot, so they're pushing this instead. The voters of our state knew Axe My Tax was a terrible idea. Terrible idea because it's gonna kill your public schools. More than that, it's gonna kill your police and fire departments. Look, if we have to cut $5 million from the budget, first thing we're gonna lay off is police and fire. They make up the largest share of our budget. We'll have to lay them off. That's what the Republican Speaker of the House wants. I guess he wants fewer public employees, fewer police officers and firefighters protecting your homes. That's his call, though. He wants fewer teachers. He wants fewer schools. I mean, they were floating this idiotic proposal on Mackinac that Rick Snyder is going to come out of retirement after he poisoned Flint to essentially create a new education system for the state. You know, it's farcical. And what I find the worst about it is that the same people who've been running the state for 30 years think that the state's in trouble. Yeah, you guys ran into the ground. I'm not surprised. So this is just one more example of the unseriousness of our representatives in Lansing. I want to shout out Representative Jamie Green, though, who's a Republican who voted against this bill, because she's a former local official who understands that this bill will harm cities and harm schools. So I hope people go back after hearing from us and talk to the legislators and say, what are you doing? Do you want your public school to close? Do you want your cops laid off? Do you want your firefighters laid off? This is what this does. It creates a permanent deficit that will harm almost every community in the state. I guess then maybe Rick Snyder can come up with a new educational program or a new statewide emergency manager to deal with the deficit that his people are trying to create. So I'm happy to support these bills. This is bad policy masquerading just as for an election year. And it's disgusting that we're talking about this. At the end of the day, we complain about Headley. We complain about the structural problems. We talked earlier about how during the Great Recession, home prices cratered, and then instead of increasing normally they would, Headley locks in this lower value. We lost 20 years of any kind of revenue. So what happens? Like Councilman Myjack says, we have to go to the people and say, instead of everyone else paying, we now have to ask you to support a tax increase to get the services you had previously. We have safe streets, not because we wanted to enhance our police departments, but because we wanted to make them whole after the Great Recession. And now they're asking us once again, we're going to get rid of personal property tax. We're going to get rid of your normal property taxes. It's crazy, and it's a game, and I'm sick of it. It just shows you how unserious people in Lansing are. You know, the Speaker of the House he says he's 6 feet, but I believe he's 5'8". And this proposal's the same way. He claims it's 6 feet, it's 5'8". It's disgusting. And he should be ashamed of himself, and I'm happy to vote against it. Or vote in favor of this to vote against it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else? Were you in that conversation with Abdul El Sayed, apparently, or at least you read about it?
I was a tweet of the week by the Detroit News about it.
Oh, you were?
Mayor Taylor?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, Miss,
Oh,
sorry.
and just to add one more thing, supposedly this takes care of the pop-up tax. Proposal A has to be amended in order for that to happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen by making
Unconstitutional.
other laws. You have to go back and amend Proposal A, and if it had been, we wouldn't have been in such a mess during the recession that we had, and when, like you said, the housing market and everything tanked. So what they need to do is somebody needs to, to get the nerve up to even bring it up and do an amendment, and nobody up there will do that. So, nothing further.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate this being brought to the city council for our input. I do think that we are the closest elected officials to the people. We are more than capable of making requests and even demands on state and federal legislators. And I don't think it's inappropriate at all that we do that. We've done it many times in the past to varying degrees of success. I think we should add our voices to the chorus out there saying, of cities saying that this is a ridiculous attempt to cripple cities for, I don't know, for political points maybe. But when it comes down to it, I think most residents, we put out our surveys, most residents are very satisfied with the level of service that they're receiving. We are not a city that is taxing, even to the, we have cushion within our headly limit. We could tax more than we're taxing now. We don't. So we're not, just a city that's looking to extract the maximum amount of taxes out of our residents. I think we're good stewards, and as it's been said here, these pass, which honestly, I do believe Mr. Smith was right, that they're not going to be signed into law. So what is the point really? But to the extent that we need to let the legislators in Lansing know how the residents here feel about it, I think for the most part, people are happy with the taxes they pay and the services they get for that money. So we don't want to see any impact on that. I'm voting yes. Council, with no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, we've completed that portion of our agenda. We've completed communications from citizens. We'll go on to reports from city administration. Anything tonight, Mr. Vanderpool?
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right, Mr. Koszybski?
Yes, Mayor, I have one item for closed session.
Okay, council, any reports or new business?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Yanes?
I got several items here. I'll try to make them as quick as possible. We just had, Mrs. Yarko and I were both there. The BAPS charities had their walkathon this year at Metro Park along the lake. It was beautiful, but they didn't want to be there. They wanted to be in Sterling Heights. And I'm not sure why our city continues to stop people who want to use our facilities, groups and charities that either want to use our park or pavilion or walkways or what have you. I think we really need to look at this whatever you want to call it, is policy that we have in regards to local charities doing good work, helping local people, and yet they have to go all the way from Sterling Heights to Metro Park to, hold their event and raise their money. I'm not sure where this comes from. I don't know what the history is and why we don't do this, but, if you have a charity established in Sterling Heights, a brick and mortar, not just a P.O. box, and they want to do good, they should be able to do good here in Sterling Heights, and we should accommodate them. And so I ask that the city management take a look at the policy that they have and reconsider allowing charities to use Sterling Heights facilities to do the good work that they do. That's number one. Number two, since we talked about the elections, one of the things we talked about when we went to four-year elections is about the primaries. And sure enough, last year we had a primary where we spent all kinds of money to eliminate one person. So I ask without objection that the city administration bring back some options for city council to consider dealing with primary elections and, the number of voters that, or the number of candidates that we have that would trigger a primary. Is it going to be just, will it be 13 and then we have to have a primary, or can we just go straight to a general? I'd like to have some options, as was reported tonight, that an election costs about $125,000, and that's a lot of money to spend to eliminate one person. So I think we also need to look at that as well. I noticed in the, pardon?
Did you ask for without objection?
Without objection, yeah.
You have to, the mayor has to echo it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, you just want them to report back on options to?
Yes.
Okay, any objection?
Mayor
Mrs.
Taylor,
Ross?
isn't that part of the charter, the way that our elections are run, so that we'd have to go to a vote of people? The administration really can't do much about that?
I don't think he's asking the administration to change it. I think he's asking for options.
That's it.
The suggestion, okay, thank you. I
That's
just
it.
wanted to.
We got 3 years to figure this out, right? So, yeah, but we really should look at this again. We talked about it, and then we didn't act, and then it happened. So,
Okay, any objection to that? All right.
just information. So I noticed in the newsletter that we're putting a sign up on the property that we just bought that's at Utica and Hayes Road, through the chair to the city manager. Is that going to be a temporary sign? And how much is that sign going to cost?
Mr. Vanderpool?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Yanes, I would say semi-temporary sign. The idea behind the signage is to let voters know what areas are being preserved forevermore as conservation areas pursuant to the commitment in Pathways to Plain preservation that the voters approved. So when I say temporary, it could be a couple years. We'll see how it holds up. We want it to look nice, see what kind of awareness it gets. That's the whole idea, is awareness. The sign is produced in-house. We have a sign shop, but I can get you specific costs on the material.
Okay, I honestly don't think anybody's going to care. We put a sign up and, thank you, PPP millage and all that. People aren't going to care. One, two, it's a natural piece of land, and we're going to put up this man-made sign on wooden posts on this natural piece of land. I don't see the point in it other than, we're doing a victory lap, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. No matter if it's in-house or not, whatever the cost is. If you want to put up a nice, welcome to Sterling Heights, or, something like that, but, we're doing this because, it's through the PPP millage, which, by the way, we didn't really need to buy that piece of land. We didn't need to raise anybody's taxes. What do we got, like 38 million in our reserves, and that piece of land cost $770,000, so. Go ahead and advertise, but it's a waste of time and money. And then finally, I'm just gonna, I had to do a lot of thinking on this. I'm quite bothered by the changes that were recently made at the police department, removing former police chief Dale Dwojciechowski as now assistant city manager as head of the police department. He's still head of the fire department and DPW, but a gentleman with over 30 years experience is being removed from running that department. It's been given to Ms. Bradley, who is a smart and talented individual who ran a city, and there's no doubt in my mind that she'll be able to tackle this. She just certainly doesn't have the 30 years experience, but she'll be able to handle it. That's fine. But what I thought was interesting was the statement in the letter to us talked about the city's broader goals through a strategic cultural planning process. And having thought about this, one of the things that came to my mind is something that Councilman Radke said at our last budget hearing, and it's something that he has said to me in the past. And he said to the fire chief, the fire department has a DEI problem. A DEI problem. And now we have we have to have a strategic cultural planning process for the police department. And so I think, we should take, this presents to me an opportunity. As much as I don't like Assistant City Manager Dwojciechowski being removed, that's the reality of it. And one of the things that should come out of this is that maybe we should be taking a look at the city from top to bottom through all our departments, because the fact of the matter is we do have blind spots. And we don't recognize what those blind spots are because they're blind spots. And so instead of just doing a strategic planning, cultural strategic, and I don't even know what that means, by the way, a cultural strategic planning process just for the police department, we should make sure that all our departments are doing everything they can to make sure that our employees feel safe, feel respected, that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're recruiting all across the board, as many people as possible, you know, to make sure that minorities are being felt that they're welcome to apply for a job here. I know the police department does a very extensive recruiting process. I think the fire department does as well. But I think that we really need to have not just the police department, but all departments looked at, and just to make sure that we're not missing anything, that all our departments are well, whatever strategic cultural planning process is, that we do this for citywide to make sure that we know that we are not missing anything in any of our departments, be it police, fire, DPW, Parks and Recs, library, across the board. So I don't have any recommendations. I'm not going to ask for anything like that. I'm just, you know, I'm just saying I don't know why we're just focusing on the police department, because we got a big city, we got a lot of employees, and we need to make sure that all our employees are treated appropriately. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yanez. Councilor Yanez?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Radke.
Just a couple things. Personally, I was a little bit worried by some of the misstatements that were made by Councilman Yanez. You know, Dale Rudakowski is Assistant City Manager here, and he serves at the pleasure of the city manager and the city council, and he's assigned to task areas as the city manager sees fit. He wasn't removed. He's not being disciplined. I don't understand what we're talking about here, but he's overseeing a different department, and that's the city manager's prerogative. That's why the city manager runs the city. Mr. Vanderpool, do you have any thoughts on this?
Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Radke, I'm happy to respond. You're correct. Mr. Wojciechowski was not removed. It's a good practice to rotate individuals around the organization. We do that in departments. In the police department, individuals are rotated out of positions after a few years. And that's what's happening with our assistant city managers. I expect this will continue over ensuing years. I expect that to get a well-rounded experience, they will be rotated and get experience in all facets, every nook and cranny of the organization. So this is not unusual. It's a very common practice. I do agree with Councilman Yanez that we should conduct strategic planning in all of our departments, absolutely. And we've done that extensively. We spent 3 years in the fire department going through a robust cultural assessment and strategic plan, and it's paid significant dividends. I think you all would agree. It's a very engaging process with the community, with all the employees in the fire department, including council members. And we're going identical process that we're going to be going through with the police department. We've done it with our Department of Public Works, our library, and so on. That's very common practice. I do agree. And the whole idea behind strategic planning in a more micro sense like that in departments is to ensure that we're creating an environment where everyone feels welcome, and they feel that their experience in the city is rewarding, and that they have ability to grow and prosper in this organization. That's the whole idea behind it. So again, this is all best practice work that we've been doing for a long, long time. There's nothing new here, but thank you for the chance to respond.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. I'd further say that I have frequently spoken with residents recently about the pathway to play and preservation millage, which was supported by a majority of the voters. And they've asked us, what have we bought, or where is the money going? So I think it is totally and absolutely appropriate to place a sign that shows our commitment to the pathway and play and preservation millage, spending the money wisely. You know, it's, I believe, a 4-acre parcel. I don't think a sign, even a larger sign, is going to much impact all of the land. But I think it's important for voters to know that we're spending their money and how we're doing it. So I have no problem with the signs. I think that the voters, the majority, who support the proposal, appreciate our willingness to inform them. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. So today, myself and Councilman Radke were at a flag dedication and raising ceremony at the corner of Utica and Shaner. It is Optalis Healthcare Center, and they have a significant number of veterans. It was focused on the veterans and their service. And it was also, they also, just as an aside, Optalis actually has a Veterans Community Affairs liaison. He's a nurse that works with Optalis. And not that I'm touting Optalis, but I'm saying that particular facility, this is what they're doing. They're trying to really focus on the veterans, but also their entire community. And really well attended. I counted 12 veterans that they were giving medals to. Really important that even now, the men are recognized for their service, thanked for their service, and shown that they're still appreciated. And it was very heartening. I was able to speak briefly, as was Mr. Radke, and just to thank everyone who did serve. And what I would like to ask, though, without objection, and I don't necessarily need this back as a motion, but if I would just like administration, it was brought up to us there that the community, the administrator there wants their community to be more involved with Sterling Heights events, and not asking us specifically to go and get them, and maybe we can with our city bus, but some of those residents, they live in Sterling Heights now. So can we let our bookmobile get to them and just stop off once a week or every two weeks, engage and see what we can do about maybe having a special handicapped area right on the during Music in the Park or Thursdays music events.
On the paved surface.
Thank you, on the paved surface, so that they're safe and they can use their wheelchairs to get there, because that's, wheelchairs are not easy to go over grass. So just if we could reach out or do some brainstorming and see what we can do to reach out, not just to Optalis, but to all our senior communities, because certainly we do care about seniors, and very much so, and we want to make sure that they're having the experience, that their money is going into their rent, it's going into their the taxes that we get from Optalis, so they're helping to pay for all of it. So we want to make sure that they're receiving the services that we provide. So I don't know if I need to just ask for that and we'll talk later, or do I need to go to council without objection for just some ideas and participation?
I mean, I don't think you're necessarily giving the city administration direction as much as saying, hey, come up with some ideas to include them.
Exactly.
And I think that's good enough.
Okay, very good. Then that's all I
And
have.
if they don't do it, then you'll remember.
Oh, I'll remember. I'll hunt them down, Mr. Vanderpool. So, but anyway, but thank you. And it was a very nice event. And then we're looking forward, although I will not be this Thursday at Music in the Park because I'm teaching a class Thursday night. But Thursday night, Music in the Park begins. And we are very excited for that because it's always a great community building event. So hope to see you at the next one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Anyone else? Who wants to? All right. Sorry, Mrs. Arco.
Okay, briefly, even though there's 4 of us that could talk about the same thing. I'm grateful that the city let us go to the Mackinac Policy Conference, and it's sponsored by the Detroit Chamber of Commerce. It was definitely worth being there. We had a chance to talk to legislators one-on-one. We received information on AI, data centers, housing. So we came back with things that we want to work on. But the one thing that stuck with me as we talked about data centers, it is not the city council's job, it's not the city's job, and it's not a developer's job. Well, it should be the developers, but data centers need to educate us. We're saying, how can we learn more about this? What should we do about this? They should be telling us. And in the panel that I heard, there are different types of management of these data centers. And like Google has one, but they set their own restrictions in place where they actually penalize themselves if they don't meet those commitments. So that was one of the things. Housing, we talked to everybody about housing. And, you know, we'll see what happens, but certainly that's what we're looking forward to. I do know that at the Dana Center, they were talking about a huge parcel of property, and the developer said, well, what are you gonna do with this parcel? Put 4,000 homes there? And my first thought was, we have a housing shortage. That would be great to put 4,000 homes there. So those are things. But my favorite early morning was the NCAA finals presentation. We had a chance to talk to Brad Galley, was the moderator, but Tom Izzo was there, Greg Kelser was there, Jalen Rose was there, Dusty May was there, and we're excited about this because we have to look at ourselves as not just Sterling Heights, but we are a region. And when people are coming in for the Final Four next year, they're gonna need places to stay, they're gonna need places to eat, so we need to think about this. And we also know that we have to do something about the short-term housing, so that we have something in place there, so when people come in, you know, we don't have all these Airbnbs. So, but that was a lot, but that was my favorite session early in the morning. So, stay tuned, because I'm sure that we'll have more things to share with you in the future. So nothing further, but we learned a lot.
All right, thank you. Council, anyone else? Just two quick things on issues that were brought up by Mr. Yanez tonight. I'm gonna tell you, I've had so many people reach out to me with great fundraising ideas, great events, great, you know, whether it's a charity walk, whatever the case is, and they want to use the amazing facilities we have across the street at Dodge Park, but they're not able to do it. And I tend to agree. I mean, I understand the thought behind the policy, but I think that there's got to be a way that we can allow people to use the park for charitable purposes without it being open up to fundraising activities 24/7. I think there's something more we can do. I wish there's something more that the city administration would come up with to allow these type of events. I don't disagree with you that it does seem counterproductive that we would have an entire primary just for the purpose of eliminating one candidate, but, you know, you gotta draw the line somewhere, right? And so how do you do that? Selfishly, maybe you could say this is a selfish request, maybe it's not, I don't know. But some cities have mayoral primaries where the winning, if the winning candidate has more than 50% of the vote, then there is no general election. So if we're gonna do something, I would just ask, maybe look and see what other cities do. Listen. It could come up in the future that.
I asked to bring back ideas, and that's an idea.
It could come back in the future that, you know, mayoral gets 65% in the primary, 65% in the general, what's the point? Okay, we are gonna adjourn into a closed session. We will not be returning. It's late enough. But we need a motion to adjourn into closed session.
So moved.
Support.
So moved and supported, a roll call vote, Ms. Riska?
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Yanez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yarko?
Yes.
Mr. Myjack?
Yes.
Mr. Radke?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We'll adjourn into closed session. Thank you, everybody.